Point probably under 100.
Fox's Phil Keating in Fort Myers. Ian is blamed for more than 80 deaths in Florida alone. America is listening to Fox News.
What did 9 out of 10 people who died from COVID have in common?
They were 50 or older.
And if you have a condition like heart disease or diabetes, your risk is even higher.
COVID vaccines lower the risk of death.
Get your updated vaccine now. It could save your life.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The best part about taking ZzzQuil Pure Z's Sleep Plus Next Day Energy at night is actually the next morning. I wake up alert with none of the grogginess from taking too much melatonin. Pure Z Sleep Plus Next Day Energy is a bilayer tablet with immediate release melatonin and extended release B vitamins to help me fall asleep naturally and wake refreshed. It's my secret weapon for a great night's sleep and a great morning.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Can't beat that.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies. Sleep better, wake your best.
Air Comfort Service, Heating and Cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Quiet times continue with our weather, but the atmosphere is starting to move a little bit. All about sunshine this afternoon. Our high hovering around 72. Clear skies 60s tonight. Chilly overnight 42. Tuesday sunshine 75. Wednesday partly sunny 78. Thursday partly sunny, maybe a sprinkle or a brief shower. It'll be hard to find 78, but much cooler Friday. The high only 62. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You're listening to St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
They'll send a SWAT-style team to go after a Catholic pro-life activist. But at the same time, there are, 17 or more fire bombings of pregnancy care centers. No arrests have been made. What it says is that there are two tiers of justice here. There are two systems, and one is ideological. And if you are a conservative, if you are a person of faith, then you are going to get targeted.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Hey, Ed Brock, everybody. If you love Halloween like I do yourself a favor and visit Johnny Brock's Dungeon. Why shop those tiny pop-up shops when you can shop 30,000 square feet of locally owned Halloween fun? We're open all year at I-44 in Jefferson on the edge of Soulard. Johnny Brock's Dungeon, a St. Louis must-see.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. After Halloween, your used jack-o'-lantern and other gourds are great additions to any compost pile. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
All the sports, music, news, and podcasts that you want are on the free Odyssey app. Download it today and listen to 97.1 anywhere. Right here, right now. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, it's Monday, and it's the Annie Frey Show, and this is Annie Frey. Sorry, I missed a few days last week. Of course, I hate doing that. I had to do some mom things. The last time I was on the air was Wednesday at Ruler Foods in St. Charles for the diaper drive, and oh my gosh, I'm still flying high from that. You guys did such an amazing job. We are going to work. Let's connect with Princess Storm here. I don't know if she's going to be in today, but I think that her diaper drive might have wrapped up this weekend. But let's work on getting Princess Storm in here to get a finalized update on how the whole thing went.
Sounds like fun.
So the reason why I was out was because my daughter. Were you sitting there on Wednesday right before the show?
Yes.
When I got the call from my husband.
Yeah. All I heard was it's broken,
mm-hmm.
and she seemed upset and stuff like that.
She was very upset. We're all upset. She has a common fracture in her foot, and the reason I know that is because my husband and my daughter are in the orthopedic exam room. Of course, the physician's assistant, their appointment was at 11:15. You know how these things go. This is just generally speaking how this type of thing works in the world. 11:15 was the appointment. I've been on FaceTime with them since 11:15. What time does the physician's assistant go into the exam room with Jensen? Oh, about 12:08. And I'm going, oh. So I had him on FaceTime. Brad was in here listening, and we were talking with him, and I was going to try to do the mom thing from here and squeeze it in, right? And my husband's literally messaging me right now. The update is a hard sole shoe or boot for treatment, 4 weeks in a boot or shoe. And they base recovery patient to patient, and I'm messaging back, that could be way worse. There we go. So this is the mom thing happening, and it was important for me to tell you that Thursday and Friday, when I wasn't here, it was difficult for me to say, no, I can't go be at the show, but I had to help my daughter do basic things. She had her foot in a soft cast and walking around on crutches. And any 10-year-old on crutches could result in other broken things.
Yeah.
And my high deductible insurance plan is going, ease up. So it's really an investment in my own financial future and the safety of my daughter to stay home Thursday and Friday. My husband stayed home with her Wednesday. I would have actually probably not been there Wednesday if it were a regular day, but it wasn't. It was an incredibly special day, that special day being the diaper drive. And Princess Storm has just walked in the studio, and she's here.
Hey, Annie.
Are you done? Is it wrapped up?
Yes.
Is the bow on top and nice and pretty?
The bow is on top, nice and pretty. You want to know the big number?
I want to know all the details. First of all, we're speaking with Princess Storm of Hot 104.1 FM, our sister station here at Odyssey in St. Louis. And this is your second annual?
Yes.
Second annual diaper drive. And D to the C, our mutual friend here, said, hey, you need to talk to Princess Storm about this diaper drive because it's a really awesome thing she does. And I think that maybe you guys might have a common interest here. And we said, okay, how can we help?
Now, listen, I want to thank you and your team and everyone over here so much. I really, really appreciate you guys. National Diaper Need Awareness Week is the last week in September. So it's near and dear to my heart because that's also my son's birthday. Mm-hmm. So I feel like this drive was this goal was meant for me to be a part of it. And my goal this year was 50,000 diapers, and you also hosted a drive to help me, meet that goal. And on Saturday, I went to the St. Louis Diaper Bank, and I dropped off all of the diapers, and we had 65,000 diapers.
Oh my gosh, that is
plus
so
diapers.
exciting.
So I went over and beyond on the goal.
Yes, 100,000 next year.
Okay.
Get back up off the floor, Princess Storm. It'll be fine, Storm.
I just slunk in my seat for 3 seconds. I'm like, oh my God, Eddie, let's not start campaigning yet.
We'll do 2 drives for you
No.
and help you and the Hot 104.1 crowd.
No, I really appreciate you so much. Your listeners were so excited to meet me and meet you and just come out. They gave us little cool things they made. It was just really, really awesome. So I'm excited about that.
The coolest thing about being able to work with you on this Storm was how this, truly was something that kind of happened and developed in the hallway.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked, and like I've said before, you're 2 studios down. We can see each other's studios from one another. But oftentimes, I think this is, certainly in radio, but in any industry, sometimes you have departments in a big office setting where you don't really require interaction or reaching out and bringing people into your world.
We just work.
You just get to work and you do your thing. There's nothing bad about it, but you keep your head down and you're working your butt off to get your job done. But because of D to the C and his willingness to be like, hey, you guys should hook up on this, it was something that we were just, it was actually kind of way easier to do than, and it makes me go, well, how do we do more of this? Or how do I use the Annie Frey Show platform or 97.1's platform to reach out and help other people. Generally in radio, I'm supposed to try to make this all about me and be like, look at what we're doing and how awesome we are. I actually am just in love with the idea of you're doing something, we support you, and how can we support one another succeed?
And I think the cool thing about it too is you're a mom, I feel like when you're a mom or a dad or you're if you're raising a child, you understand the need for these children needing diapers. It's not about anything else but these babies. So I believe we helped about 900 plus families with that goal.
All
here in St. Louis. So if you guys need diapers right now, someone in need, they can go to the St. Louis Diaper Bank and be like, hey, I have a child and he or she is 8 months and I need Pampers. Do you guys have size 3? And you just go and they'll give you enough for a week. It's free. You don't need, it's you probably have to show some proof or whatever, but it's free to you. And that's the reason I did the drive. So this organization and this company can stay open to keep helping families.
I just want to find more people and more areas where people are doing things. First of all, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Jim and Heroes Care.
Oh my God. Heroes is the best ever right now. I've been telling everyone about him. And when I go there, oh yeah, I know him. I'm like, how did I miss him?
Everybody knows Jim.
Everybody knows him.
HeroesCare.org is the organization, and he showed up. And Brad, I'll let you kind of tell the story because this was developing. Princess got there probably 20 minutes after they showed up.
Yes.
I'm on the. Was I talking about the hurricane or something?
Yeah, you were doing. I don't know exactly what you were talking about, but I think you were setting up Dave Murray to call in.
Yeah.
And anyway, this guy walks up and he hands me a business card and a pink sheet of paper. And so I'm looking at the business card and it says Heroes Care and stuff on it. I'm like, okay, this is cool. But the pink sheet of paper looked like a receipt. You ever get a paper receipt from a place the carbon copy thing? That's what it looked like and had a bunch of numbers on it and stuff like that. Well, right as the show was getting ready to start, there was a man out painting the parking lot. So I thought maybe this guy's with that organization. He's handing me the...
was. You do a live broadcast and there's this huge machine. And as I said that day, just sitting right in front of your microphones going, the whole time. And you're like, what is this? You got to be kidding me. Who's playing a prank on me? Is this KMOX's doing? What's going on here? And then I talked to the guy, and he couldn't have been more nicer, and he worked his tail off and got everything done.
So I thought maybe they were handing me a bill or something for this. I don't know, this might be the wrong place to hand this to me, but I'm looking at it, and there's this big number. It says $21,320. I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, that's really expensive for a parking lot thing. And I'm looking down, and then I look at the guy, and I look over, and I notice this box truck sitting out there. And on the side of the box truck is the same logo that's on the business card. And then I looked down at the number again. I looked at him and because Annie's talking and we're on air and I can't say anything, I just mouthed the words, "Are those diapers in there?" And he shakes his head. real big, real emphatically, yes. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, Annie, I have to stop you right here. You see that box truck over there?
Yeah.
That's full of diapers.
4 pallets of Huggies diapers.
I was so excited. Like, I get excited about like food. I get excited about like being off, not having my baby sometimes. I was so
you were
excited.
saying all the real things. Thank you.
I get excited
Me too.
about seeing diapers. I'm like in diaper heaven. And I was just really, really excited, that he found it, in his heart to donate. It means a lot to me, and I'm really, really grateful to meet new friends. That's what it's all about,
100%. Well, Princess Storm, with Hot 104.1, it was her diaper drive, and I said, I think that the Annie Frey Show faithful will show up to support this, and I'm putting it out there right now. We will be back next year to help in full force.
Thank you.
Are there 2 events to do this? Do you do one in the spring, or does it all culminate? Did you do something in the...
No, I usually only do it during third quarter. I start like July, kind of a little bit, just like teasing it, August, and then September is real, real heavy. So it's just like the whole third quarter. I feel like I should do it throughout the whole year because my number was so huge, but we did it in like 2 months.
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome.
Well, when we do 100,000 next year, I'm telling you, we'll just maybe do a couple remotes.
Yeah.
Ruler Foods was amazing.
Oh my
that was
God.
a connection that you had that brought in St. Charles, the Ruler Foods in St. Charles. They just were so accommodating, and the people who were coming and going were so generous.
I'm so excited. Thank you to my sponsors, Ruler Foods by Kroger, Will's Way Inc., Odyssey, everyone here, all the brands, everyone really chipped in and helped out. It was really, really amazing. I was like, very excited to see everyone come together because, like I say, these are babies, they cannot change their own diapers. So much happens when you let a baby just like soil and sit. So I'm excited that a lot of people found it in their heart to say like, hey, I have grandchildren, or hey, I was a foster mom, or I know I have 4 or 5 kids, or I have one baby. I know how expensive it is. And if you can give back, that was just like a really great thing. A lot of people were just coming. They bought out the store or had to restock the store 3 times.
That's crazy.
I was like, whoa.
Brad, you and I talked about this in Princess Storm. You can weigh in on this if you want to, but how important it is for us on this show. What we talk about a lot of societal issues and the government and politics and news. And I have a list right here in front of me full of sound of a bunch of things that I could come on here and complain about. And I think that they're worthy things to highlight. I don't want to diminish the fact that my job is to make sure that anybody who chooses, because I know it's a choice to tune in to 97.1, and it's a very easy choice to tune out of 97.1, that when you come here, you feel informed on what's going on in the world, and you want to be maybe inspired or motivated to move the needle to try to solve some of these problems. We have such easy ways to solve local problems that completely, Brad, circumvent the idea of, let's raise our tax dollars so some government official can take a little off the top, and then it goes through the system, and then finally it comes around to what? Buy a diaper for a baby? Buy the box of diapers yourself and give it to the babies.
Right. That's kind of the thing. And this is like, when we talk about conservatism, we're not anti-helping people. We're very pro-helping people. We just see the government as an unnecessary middleman that drives up the cost of doing it. If you really want to help people, like Annie said, you can personally go help people. You go and you find a diaper drive, like Princess Storm did her diaper drive, and people saw that and they said, hey, I want to help. They went out, they bought the diapers. So one day, 35,000 diapers into the diaper bank. And it didn't require any government assistance. It didn't require any tax dollars. It didn't require anything other than
$10 in 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it just required people with a willing heart and a desire to help people.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel like people don't know like a word to help or who to help. They just like, they probably want to. And, you guys gave them the opportunity and, the platform like, hey, we'll be here this location, this time. Come out if you want to. And people actually showed up. They're like, well, let me see what's going on. Or they follow you guys on the stream, or they just follow your show. And they're like, hey, I want to meet you guys. And you're like, hey, what's up?
Let's do it.
And they're really excited. So I think too, like once you actually put it out there for the people to, it's like now it's your choice to make a difference or not.
Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is, for sure. I'm putting you all on blast here. We all have to step up. And I cannot wait to find more opportunities for the Annie Frey Show to step in. And when I say that, I'm really talking about you. I'm not talking about me. Point me in the direction. Tell me when and where so that I can show up and I can be there and help facilitate the amazing people of this 97.1 FM Talk audience, of the Annie Frey Show listening audience, to support the amazing station Hot 104.1 and the amazing Princess Storm.
Oh, thank you. No, listen, I love you guys. I was like, Annie did so amazing. Everyone on her team was so awesome. I was like, oh my God, this was like the best thing ever. I was like a diaper high for like 4 days.
Well, you take your break, put your feet up, 100,000 next year.
Oh my God,
we're doing it. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Did you see that thermometer? Every day I was like coloring in. I'm like, I need more crayons.
Did you do the explodey thing out the top?
No, I just stopped. I just had to stop and like take a chill pill. I was like, okay, breathe in, breathe out. You know how like moving 100,000, you know how moving 50,000 diapers, how hectic that was?
I know how hectic it was moving them on over foods. Cars filled to the brim. And
oh my God. It was worse
great.
on Saturday. So it was like 10 times crazier.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we did it.
You did it.
We did it. I thank everybody. I appreciate you guys.
Yes, you were a blessing, Princess Storm. Thank you for letting us participate in that. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to speak with Stewie. Stuart Rosenblum is going to be in studio with us because the Feds hiked rates again last week. What in the world does this mean for the economy? Does that mean mortgage rates have gone through the roof? Does that mean your credit card rates are through the roof? What about those adjustable rates? We'll speak with Stephen more on the broader economy at 105, but when we come back, Stewie's going to talk to you about maybe some of the personal finance questions that you might have. And if you have questions for him, the best way to get them in is to go into the Annie Frey YouTube channel and leave the comments right there, and we'll field as many as we can when he comes back. Ryan Wiggins still on vacation. Hannah turned 21 yesterday, so she took the day off. I have no idea why. Actually, I do. I talked to her last night. She had a day. But she's just fine. So stick around. Stewie in studio when we come back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. Text Red Cross to 90999 to give $10 to American Red Cross Disaster Relief, which helps people affected by disasters such as Hurricane Ian. Message and data rates may apply, or go to 971talk.com for additional ways you can help.
So, like I said, Stewie's going to be in here in like 5 minutes, less than that, and we're going to talk to him about what the economy is doing right now and how it might be reflecting your personal finance. I have seen this in my own personal economy, and I've heard so many other people who have seen how everything that is costing more and more and more and more is causing you to deplete your savings. And when you were comfortable a year ago, you might not be as comfortable right now as you were then. And you're thinking, is it going to get any better? What can you do to make sure your financial situation is improved? Maybe one of the things you might consider is a mortgage refinance that allows you to take cash out of your home because the equity in your house still, it's pretty high. You want to use that equity to pay off high interest credit card debt or high interest loans. When you refinance with Stewie and the bagel loan, you pay nothing in fees that every other lender out there is going to charge you for. When rates come down in the future, you can refinance again. Bagel loan. Doesn't cost you anything to go through it, to save on all those closing costs. It just makes sense. I'm a customer of the bagel loan. I think that you might consider it for yourself. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Call or text, Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Odyssey celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month and the trailblazers who made their mark worldwide. Ellen Ochoa became the first ever Hispanic astronaut in 1990 and the first Latina to be launched into space. In total, Ellen has been on 4 space flights and has logged more than 950 space hours. Odyssey salutes Ellen Ochoa for her contributions to the space program on National Hispanic Heritage Month. More on the Odyssey app and celebrate the sounds and stories of Hispanic heritage at odyssey.com/HHM.
This station is now conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
AMCO presents
offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AAA-MCO.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
ChiliChili.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. A regular crowd shuffles in.
I know I'm being banged up by the Republicans, but come bring it on. We can afford to cancel $10,000 in student debt and $20,000 if you had a Pell Grant. For Americans making under $125,000, 70% of black college students receive a Pell Grant. For many black students, these loan forgiveness will wipe out the student debt completely. For others, it'll provide significant relief. It's a game changer.
So there's President Biden talking about what we can afford. Where's he getting all this money from? I guess he's printing it here to explain how we can afford all of these things, if he can do it, if he's up to the challenge. Stewie, my friend Stewie, Stuart Rosenblum from Stewart's American Mortgage, a great partner and sponsor of the show. Stewie, when you hear President Biden say we can afford to do all of this, what's your immediate reaction?
Well, it kind of reminds me of Jimmy Carter. Now, I don't know if everybody out there is old enough to remember, but back in the 70s...
I've heard of him.
Okay, Jimmy Carter had a problem, which was unemployment was just through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
So what he did was he created jobs. He had the Treasury print money to pay for those jobs. 2 years later, inflation hit 13.3%. So, I mean, where do we not learn from history? Do we not understand that if you inject a lot of cash, if you go ahead, and these are the things that are going to happen long term? So this is what we fail as a country, is to remember. We have such short memories.
Yeah, and I think I'm glad you brought that up, because people talk about Jimmy Carter. I've grown up hearing about Jimmy Carter from my dad, and Jimmy Carter, light bulbs, blah blah blah, or something, gas lines. I don't know. It was bad. That's what I understand, is that the 70s were bad. And I also know that the 70s produced a Ronald Reagan, and that the 80s and really the 90s to some extent were pretty good in this country. It seems as though right now we are in a place like what you're saying. We've forgotten that we've done some of this already, and it didn't work then. But at the same time, every solution that I see coming out of this administration is to spend more money.
Spend more money, free, ride on the coattails of everybody paying taxes and charge more at the end of the day. And what do you think is going to happen with inflation? It's going to keep going up. It's going to keep going up. It's just historical fact. It's just historical fact.
So I, as Stewie knows, but you may not all know, that when the feds raise rates or something like this happens, I'll text Stewie and I'll be like, explain this to me in the simplest terms possible that even I can understand. When we hear last week, was it last week that the feds raised rates again? Everybody panics, but I don't know that everybody really understands what does that mean immediately. And then, of course, if you make some sort of big economic change like that, there are going to be like a second tier of evolving changes that take place in the economy. What does it mean for the Fed to have raised the rates like they did last week? How does that compare historically to what the Fed has done? And what is the outcome they're hoping to achieve?
Well, I think the first question everybody needs to understand is, what is the Fed funds rate? Because when the government went ahead and brought those rates down to zero, we got an average of 500 calls a day asking us if they can refinance down to zero. So the mortgage rates are not the Fed funds rates. What happens is the government now requires all banking institutions to keep a certain amount of cash on hand. At the end of the day, because banks like to lend all their money, at the end of the day, if they don't have enough cash on hand, they have to borrow money either from the Federal Reserve or from other banks. The rate that they pay to borrow that money to have those cash reserves is the Fed funds rates. When they do that and the rates get raised and the government goes and said, okay, we're going to raise those rates because we want the cost of borrowing to be higher, it's going to trickle down to you. I got a notice on my Nordstrom credit card that my new interest rate is 28.52%. That means that you're going to pay almost 1/3 of your bill is going to be interest in the future. So the government's doing everything in its power for short-term credit cards, car loans, home equity lines of credit to dissuade us to go out and buy stuff.
They're trying to get us to stop spending money.
Yeah, stop spending money. And if you don't spend the money, there'll be less demand for the actual supplies and the things that we need, and the prices will drop. I don't know why we can't go back to old-time America and just find ways to manufacture the things that we had or that we need and increase the supply that way. That's the way the country was built, is on entrepreneurship, but that's not the way that our government operates right now. So this is what happens.
Just a second. It seems conflicting to be raising rates to stop people from spending money and at the same time be giving $10,000 and $20,000 of essentially money to people who borrowed for student loans. In addition to how many stimulus packages that we had, it seems strange to be like, stop spending money. Here's a bunch of money. I don't understand. I mean,
it doesn't make sense.
Do I not get it, or is that dumb?
It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
Okay.
It's just dumb. So the
I
government,
feel smart for knowing that it's dumb.
No, the government is just two-sided. You know, first of all, you've got inflation, which means prices. This is what's happening with everybody that we see now. Inflation's there, so the price for gas it dropped a little bit, but it's still higher than what it was, and other types of products are going up and up and up. And then, by the way, when you can't pay that bill, we're going to charge you 30% interest. So people are getting hit on both sides. Oh, we'll just go ahead and forgive the student loans. We'll give you more cash here. We'll give you more cash there. So this is a really bad way to approach what's going on. I do want to footnote, though, historically, we've been through this. In 1918 was the Spanish flu, right? 50 million plus people unfortunately passed away during that time. Inflation after that reached 23.7%. So it shot through the roof, probably for the same reasons. Maybe the government was giving cash, supply chains, all those kinds of issues. The following year, though, it was negative 15.8%. So what the government should be doing is not worrying about, hey, we have to stop people from spending money, is just control things, remain calm. And that's what the UN said today. They came out today and they said, hey, everybody, stop raising the interest rates because you're going to destroy the entire world economy. Remember, the Federal Reserve is not overly concerned about employment. where the Federal Reserve is not overly concerned about the economy. They're mostly concerned about inflation right now. They'll say, we'll fix everything else afterwards, but let's get inflation down. Well, your job and my job is not their primary concern. Us spending money is the primary concern. Ultimately, we're going to have unemployment, we're going to have recession, and the whole world is going to go into a recession. Down Turkey's inflation rate is 83%. So it's nuts. It's going nuts everywhere. So they just need to calm down, take a deep breath. Let's get through this, and everything should be fine at the end of the day.
We're speaking with Stuart Rosenblum, my friend Stewie at Stuart's American Mortgage. Do you have to run out of here?
No.
Can we keep him? Brad, will you allow it?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
I would like to take questions from you folks about what Stewie's saying. We're going to speak with Stephen Moore as well at 2 o'clock. I think so. I just saw he's coming up on Fox News. This is always like a game we play. But if you have questions for Stewie, will you please go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and leave a comment there? And Brad's looking for the comments. I'll look for them, and you can take some comments from listeners, because I think it's important for us to understand, especially, this isn't why Stewie's here. Stephen Moore will certainly comment on this, but especially going into the 2022 elections, are people making decisions that are making this situation worse for Americans? Because if you're looking at the economy, if you're looking at your own personal economy and you're going, this sucks, is there anything I can do about it, or do I just need to weather the storm? If there's something you can do about it, I want you to know about that. We're going to talk with Stephen Moore about that at 1:05. And we're going to ask him about the difference between keeping on the same path we're on right now and possibly making changes in our November election. But when it comes to your own personal economy, I mean, why would anybody want to refinance their mortgage right now? The rates are out of control. Well, are they? Let's talk to Stewie about that when we come back. And let's also get to your questions, which you can put in the live chat on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Our YouTube live chat poll kind of touches on this, maybe. What's the most motivating issue for the 2022 midterm elections? Is it the economy, crime, immigration, or something else? And if it's something else, we encourage you to leave a comment as well, and we'll have those read by Brad. Maybe you can do the poll results at 2:45 since Hannah is recovering from her 21st birthday, which was yesterday. Stewie, stick around. We'll have you answering questions when we come back, and all of that right there on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Don't go away.
Tonight, well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Now, John,
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Jesse Jane Duff.
I'm sure you loved the president's speech.
It sounded an awful lot like a stump speech.
He always sounds like a stump speech because you know he's going to stump. There's no reason for this man not to run again.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Attention. Per the current government mandate, U.S.-based insurers are now required to cover at-home COVID testing kits with no out-of-pocket fees to you. If you have a current insurance plan, you are eligible to receive up to 8 COVID-19 tests shipped to you each month absolutely free, as long as the government mandate is in effect. Just visit testkitforfree.com to register now from the comfort of your own home. That's testkitforfree.com to receive your tests shipped to you at no cost. Go to testkitforfree.com today. Paid for by T Euro Health.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
So Air Comfort Service, online at aircomfortservice.com. Easy to go there and see what kind of offers that they have for you. Because, listen, it's been chilly. It's gotten into the 50s. And have you turned your furnace on yet? I think that we have. I turned it on in our house, and I kind of questioned whether my husband went right behind me and turned it back off. That might have happened. I need to ask him about that. It's going to get chillier and chillier, obviously, and you need to make sure that your furnace is in good working order. If you need a new furnace, a boiler, a heat pump, or an entirely new HVAC system, call Corey and the team at Air Comfort Service and talk to them about how they can help you. They offer free estimates on new equipment. Through November 19th, they're going to double Carrier Cool Cash rebates. This is a great opportunity to save on equipment that you might end up having to buy. You can also possibly qualify for 0% financing, as we're talking about the economy, up to 72 months plus utility rebates. You could trust Air Comfort Service, 53 years of award-winning services. You could just Google them and quickly see all of the accolades they've achieved. But personally, mine as a customer of theirs, I would call them first thing if I had an issue with my HVAC system because I trust them. 314-513-0091. Easy to find online, aircomfortservice.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want, and Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Oh, Hank, what a wonderful spider web you have built for us. I love this fabulous space we have right here in the corner of the kitchen.
Thanks, Charlotte. I think I'll build us a vacation web in the coat closet. Maybe even one in Susie's room, too. Oh, no. It's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the move.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Hi, this is Ken.
And Lori Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. We're dedicated to helping individuals and families work toward their financial goals.
If you're retiring soon, join us Saturday at 9:30 a.m. for your Retirement Highway.
Investment advisory services by individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
And then Hispanic Americans, like every other American, are experiencing the worst inflation in 40 years, the highest grocery prices since 1979, the worst gas prices on record, the highest prices for housing since 1984. They don't like these policies either. They're not just voting on race and immigration. They're voting on their own pocketbooks and what's going on with their own families. So they're going to be as unhappy with the Biden administration as anybody else is.
Yeah, I mean, so that's Fox News reporting on some, I guess, Hispanic numbers according to the economy. Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage is in studio with us here. And we're just talking about the economy and the idea of rates being raised and what that means across the board. Stewie, I would assume in your line of business, you talk to all sorts of people. There's no political delineation as to who comes to everybody needs a mortgage at one time or another. But the economy right now, as it is, whether it is dwindling savings accounts, high interest credit card debts, the need to refinance, the need to purchase a home. This economy is touching everybody across the board.
If you're buying a house, okay, people are saying, well, I don't want to buy a house right now because interest rates are higher. Well, which is better? You want to buy it now, or Or do you want to wait 3, 4, 5 months where it's even more costly? They're saying, hey, I can buy this house for $400,000, but if I wait 2 months because the market's softening, I can get it for $380,000. So let's say today's interest rate 6.5% at $400,000. In 4 months, you're going to buy it for $380,000, but you're going to pay 7.5%. So you'll end up paying more over time by waiting than you will by buying it now. If interest rates drop, guess what? You're going to go ahead and refinance it for free with the bagel loan and get a lower rate. So for people that are saying, I don't want to buy right now because rates are higher, you got to think about overall, are you going to pay more long term? And if the interest rates do drop, which means that the housing market will go back up, you're going to end up refinancing anyway. So why would you want to delay it? It's not the smart way to go.
So I said that before we went to a break there, that we would take some questions with Stuart's American Mortgage in studio with us, our sponsor. And I want to get to Mike's question on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Should I try to sell my home with the rates going up or put it on the market to rent or even owner finance? So you're talking about people who may look to buy. What about people right now who are looking to sell?
Well, I think selling is still a great idea. In St. Louis, the market's still very, very hot, especially if you're dealing with houses that are from maybe $150,000, $200,000 up to about $750,000. That middle group, we're still seeing numerous contracts come across our desk, numerous bids. They're constantly happening. People are still buying houses.
Inventory still seems to be low.
Inventory's tight because the people that have the lower rates and don't necessarily have to move, they're not selling. So inventory is going to be, and when rates start to drop in a year from now or a year and a half, and the millennials come in to buy, which is going to be the biggest group of people buying homes, it's just going to drive the market even higher. So to wait, I don't see any good purpose in saying, okay, I'll wait 6 months to sell or wait or do it right now. We have programs, mortgage programs that you can offer as a seller to give people rates that are lower than today. So you have a $400,000 house, for example, and you have to cut it to $390,000. Instead of cutting it to $390,000, you pay a small fee to the lender, which is us. We start the buyer at 2% below what the prevailing interest rate is. So for the next year or two, they're going to have interest rates that we had a year ago. And then once the market turns, interest rates drop, you can refinance for free. So as a seller, there are things and tools you can use to get your house sold quicker than everybody else anyway.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't wait.
Brad, we've talked off the air just about, economic things. We follow the news and everything, but it also hits us individually in different ways. You were talking about how when you started this show, where you were and the income that you were making from this show was a difference in your life, your and your wife's life. But just slowly, the way that the economy is seeping in, and kind of in my mind, maybe I'm blessed in this and other people aren't experiencing this way, so I don't want to be naive about that, but it's creeping in and it's kind of rearing its ugly head. All of a sudden you're like, whoa.
Yeah. So like whenever I started this job, it was a significant raise. It was a big raise over what I was making doing the other stuff that I was doing. But, so it was like, all right, great. So we started paying down our mortgage more and putting more in savings and doing all these other things and doing the right things with the extra money that we have. But as prices have gone up, as inflation has gone up, as all this has happened, it's chipped away at that raise that I got, chipped away and chipped away and chipped away and chipped away. And now we're kind of almost back to where we were before I started on the show.
Stewie, isn't it interesting? I mean, it's a political talking point on both sides of the aisle to talk about minimum wages and, we need to pay people more. Well, anytime we're trying to force businesses to do certain things like that, it makes other things cost more. We talk about like the McDonald's worker. You want to pay him $15 an hour? Okay, that's great. But your Big Mac is going to cost $8 instead of $5 or whatever. That's kind of what we're doing on the grander scale right now with the amount we're pumping money into the system. And so everyone has more money. But if everyone has more money and everything costs the same, to what Brad's saying in his own personal circumstance, more income coming in the house, not because anybody gave it to him, but because he's earning it. If everything costs more, then you're not really better off than where you started.
You're not. And, people also, they talk about refinancing and consolidating debt. And they say, look, I've got a rate of 4% right now. I don't want to go to 7% or 6.5% to consolidate my debt. Well, wait a minute. You're paying 28% on that debt. Are you not better off at consolidating it, Don't worry about volatility of an adjustable rate mortgage, and long term have a cash flow. Now, this is exactly what Brad was referring to, because today that 7% or 6.5% is a lot of money. But historically in our country, in 5 years from now, we hope that people are going to get reasonable increases, but the rate's going to stay the same, and the amount you owe is going to kind of dwindle, and it'll be easier to pay the bill as we go on in time. But we're not operating a country that works on this premise.
Mm-hmm.
We're operating a country of, here's money, take it away. Here's money, take it away. Oh, let's give it to these people. Let's print more money here. There's no fiscal thinking on the overall picture based on how this country was built and historically how things have turned out. So I don't know why we're giving freebies, $10,000 freebies for student loans.
I do. Yeah, I was going to say it isn't fiscal thinking. It's political thinking with a fiscal reaction that we just try not to talk about until after the election. That's what I'm saying. That's me. That's Annie.
Well, I mean, Brad was talking about inflation, and which groups do you think that are getting the most affected by those inflation rates? So, yeah, we're giving you $10,000, but you know what? We're going to make it more expensive for you to buy food. And you're not going to get a raise or anything like that. So you may think you're better off, but you're not. So it doesn't make any sense.
Is there an economic benefit can it be argued that all of these policies that are driving inflation up, that are driving rates up, is there an argument to be made that this is what's best for the country that maybe I don't agree with, but can you play the devil's advocate there and see why there is an actual non-political, but economic benefit to the country for what is being put into play right now?
If somebody tells me that they're going to allow me to borrow $10,000 and I won't have to ever pay it back, I'm a happy camper. There's your benefit.
Yeah.
Now, as a country,
that seems like a political benefit. Not so much an economic one.
That's the only benefit that you possibly have. You know, I'm part owner of the hot dog stand at Bush. Now, can you imagine if I start giving everybody out free hot dogs? I'm going to have to turn around and say,
You'll
okay,
be really popular and broke.
I'll be really popular. You'll come running to the stand, and then instead of charging $10 for a hot dog, I'm going to have to start charging $20 for a hot dog.
Somebody has to pay for those hot dogs.
Somebody has to pay for it. And same thing with wages. If you want me to go ahead and raise the price or raise your cost of how much you're going to earn, I'm just going to raise the cost of the product for you. So there is no free rides. And that's the bottom line at the end of the day. I think that we should just focus our country on growing our entrepreneurship, on growing supply chains, on giving incentives to companies to make the items that we need that are costing more, which will drive prices down. Make them here.
So that we don't have to rely on a ship traversing an ocean that if it can't get here, then it stops the whole process.
Yeah, this whole country was based on everything that was being made here. Why can't we do it again? Why can't we do it again? So build everything here. Keep the jobs here. You know, if we build everything here, can you imagine how many jobs we would have more over here? And then the prices can be maintained. Our quality of life can be maintained. If there's not enough widgets, we can produce companies or companies we made to jump into the world, into the economic world, to build those widgets to compete. That's the way this company works. Different car companies came out to produce cars to compete with each other, to bring the prices down and to make the best product. You don't just turn around and say, I'm going to charge you 3 times the price for the car so you won't buy it. I'll have one left. Because at the end of the day, all you're going to do is have these car companies lay everybody off. You'll have the same supplies and higher prices.
John on our Annie Frey YouTube channel says, reminds me of filling a bucket that has holes in it. It never fills. That's kind of the way it seems. But you get credit for putting the water in the bucket. And you're just like, pay no attention to the water coming out of the holes that are in the bucket. The problem doesn't get solved. We got a break in a minute here, Stewie. But before we go, if people are looking right now and they're like, gosh, I'm doing okay right now, but it matters what happens in the next 30 days, 6 months. Is it going to get better before it gets worse?
Well, today's a big day because the UN came out and they're kind of putting pressure on everybody not to raise interest rates that quick. They know the history of what happened back in the Spanish flu. They know that ultimately will come back. don't kill the economy, both nationally and internationally, in order to solve a simple political problem.
And you said today rates have gone down.
They've gone down tremendously. It's a great window of opportunity. If you want to refinance or you're buying a home and looking, you can lock in today. You can get a better rate than you did over the last 3-4 months. So,
how quick can you close?
12 days.
Man, that's faster than we do anything. That's fantastic. Stewie, thank you. Truly. When I said bring it down to my level and maybe even a little bit lower, that hot dog stand analogy, that was right what I needed to hear. Someone's got to pay for the hot dogs, folks. And guess what? It's you. Even if you think you're getting them for free, you're still paying it. Maybe just taking the wallet out of your back pocket. Stuart's American Mortgage, a wonderful partner and sponsor here on the Annie Frey Show. Call or text him. He's got the phone on him right now. It's his phone number, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. I'm a 2-time user of the bagel loan. I believe in it. That's why I keep talking about it. And you can talk to him about how it could help you. Just inquire. See what Stewie can do for you. You can Google the bagel loan to find out more. Thank you, Stewie. When we come back, Stephen Moore. We'll talk to him in a minute.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeStLouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com or call 314-782-8000.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
So Michael's Flooring Outlet, their website, simple to remember. IGotFloored.com. When you reach out to Michael's Flooring Outlet to engage in your flooring purchase, you can start your search there, or maybe your search will end there. I think it'll end there because I think you're going to be satisfied working with the staff at Michael's Flooring Outlet and understanding that they know how to help you navigate this purchase. It's going to cost some money, of course, to replace flooring, but you want to make sure that the value that you're getting for the money that you're investing in your flooring is spot on. That's a great reason to go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. But they also have a fantastic selection of top brands to make sure that your investment is going to be one you're going to be so proud to show off to everybody when it gets installed in your home or in your commercial place of work, or maybe it's your church. If you need to replace flooring in your home, if you're looking for the Mohawk carpeting, if you're looking for the top brands in vinyl or hardwood, you got to go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. Online at IGotFloored.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
First Puerto Rico, then Florida. Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden beginning the first of 2 trips to hurricane-devastated areas this week. FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell says in Puerto Rico, they're laser-focused on making sure the U.S. territory has all the help it needs, telling reporters on the way there.
We still have to understand the extent of some of those really complex infrastructure impacts. Again, they were in very mountainous communities, hard to access. It's going to be in the billions, though, in time to fix that.
The island is recovering most recently from Hurricane Fiona, but also from the devastation during Maria 5 years ago. In Florida, search, rescue, and recovery efforts continue from Hurricane Ian. And the president remains in contact with the Republican governor.
They have been in touch several times, the president and Governor DeSantis. They see this moment dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Ian as one team.
Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre, in addition to all of the deadly damage, utility crews are still working to restore power to more than 600,000 customers in Florida. Sweden has sent a submarine rescue ship capable of advanced diving missions to the site of ruptures in the Nord Stream pipelines under the Baltic Sea.
Russia has blamed the West for sabotaging the Russian-built natural gas pipelines. The U.S. has vigorously denied that charge, and the White House National Security Advisor told reporters last week he does not believe any NATO ally was involved. Explosions damaged the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines near Sweden and Denmark, causing a massive leak of methane.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. An independent investigation finds systemic emotional abuse and sexual misconduct in women's soccer. A report just released comes after 5 of the 10 head coaches in the National Women's Soccer League last season either stepped down or were fired. America is listening to Fox News.
What did 9 out of 10 people who died from COVID have in common?
They were 50 or older.
And if you have a condition like heart disease or diabetes, your risk is even higher.
COVID vaccines lower the risk of death.
Get your updated vaccine now. It could save your life.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus next-day energy with melatonin plus extended-release B vitamins.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Quiet times continue with our weather, but the atmosphere is starting to move a little bit. All about sunshine this afternoon. Our high hovering around 72. Clear skies 60s tonight. Chilly overnight 42. Tuesday sunshine 75. Wednesday partly sunny 78. Thursday partly sunny, maybe a sprinkle or a brief shower. It'll be hard to find 78, but much cooler Friday. The high only 62. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey everyone, it's Mark Reardon, and 97.1 FM Talk has some very, very cool new merch for you to check out. In partnership with our friends at Whiskey Dickerson Small Batch Outfitters, we've created new t-shirt designs for The Mark Cox Show, Annie Fry Show, and my show, The Mark Reardon Show. All you have to do is go to 971talk.com/merch to pick your show and your size. My show, of course. That's 971talk.com/merch.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to GetRefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
Are you or someone you know seeking help for a substance use disorder in Franklin County? Prevent Ed's free peer support service can connect clients with the medication-assisted treatment provider. Our certified peer specialists guide you through the process and ensure transportation to appointments and to pick up medication. Clients can generally be seen by a treatment provider in 24 to 36 hours. Access this free service at 314-246-9788 or at prevented.org/peers.
CertaPro painters have powers far beyond those of ordinary painters. For example, they have the power of reliability, the power of doing it right, and the power of fresh color. And this is a great time to spruce up the interior of your home with a fresh coat of paint, and CertaPro can help. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. For your home or business, CertaPro can knock out a great painting project for you. CertaPro painters, the power of pro. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro painters, proven and trusted experts in painting.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere.
Where St. Louis comes to talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Banged up by the Republicans, but come bring it on. We can afford to cancel $10,000 in student debt and $20,000 if you had a Pell Grant. For Americans making under $125,000, 70% of black college students receive a Pell Grant. For many black students, these loan forgiveness will wipe out the student debt completely. For others, it'll provide significant relief. It's a game changer.
Well, I guess if President Biden says that we can afford it, we can afford it. I guess it's really that simple. He does help the money get printed, I suppose. Stephen Moore joins us now, senior economic contributor at FreedomWorks, author of the book Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. Stephen, welcome back. Did you hear the president just say, yeah, we can afford this, no big deal?
Yeah, right. We could afford the whole $4 trillion he spent and borrowed, right? I mean, this has been just an avalanche of debt. And I think it's what's really caused this kind of financial crisis that's happening all over the world. It's just this massive amounts of debt and spending and printing of money. And if you're wondering why, now the market's up today, thank God, but it's been down so much over the last 3 months. And, people with their retirement funds, their 401k plans are just getting killed. Annie, my wife and I told my wife, just stop looking.
Yeah.
Stop looking because the numbers are so bad. So, we have to start cutting government spending. It's really the new virus around America is unrelenting and unpaid for government spending.
Yeah, and it doesn't. We just were talking with somebody who's a partner with our show, sponsors our show, and he does mortgages. And it's like he was kind of breaking down the Fed raising the rates last week, right, and how that all works. But the concept being that the Fed is trying to slow down our spending, but at the same time, the Democrats who are in control in the federal government are saying, "Here's more money." It seems like there's a conflicting message being sent to Americans.
You get an A in economics today, and you're exactly right. So the Fed is trying to slow down the massive spending, and then the Congress and the White House are massively increasing the spending. So you're right; they're acting at cross purposes here, and they're kind of canceling each other out. And so, unfortunately, yes, the Fed has to raise rates, but we also need to, start. If Republicans win the Congress, which I believe they will, then they need to really take an axe to the budget and start. As I mentioned, we've spent $4.1 trillion. Above the normal amount of the budget, which is already $6 trillion. So that's a lot of money we're talking about here. We could easily do a $1 trillion cut, and I think that would be, exactly the kind of medicine the economy needs right now. I mean, we just have a very anti-business administration. You see, they want to have with the aid. I don't know if you've been following this with the aid for Florida. They want to have it, passed out based on quote equity.
Yes.
And like the color of your skin. I mean, this is crazy. That's not
racist.
America.
Yeah, that's racist. We worked really hard in this country to overcome looking at people's skin and making judgments based on just simply what you see on the surface.
Yeah, so much for a colorblind society, right?
Yeah. I want to ask you, I'm glad you brought up Florida, and I know a little bit about this, and I'm curious what your thoughts are. There's some criticism towards Governor Ron DeSantis because he's had to sit down at a table with Joe Biden. He's had to accept federal aid, and there's this idea that in the wake of a hurricane, the taxpayer dollars coming into Florida, federal taxpayer dollars coming into Florida, is somehow a conflict of what Governor Ron DeSantis has stood for before. Now, you're nobody who's ever come on here and talked about big government spending as being good, but I'm curious of your thoughts of this type of federal aid in the wake of a natural disaster in Florida. If you think that some of those criticisms of Ron DeSantis criticizing all this extra spending, is he being a hypocrite at all by saying, okay, we'll take these aid dollars coming from the federal government?
Well, I do think, I'm pretty libertarian, so I do think that the best kind of aid is the money that people are giving to the Red Cross and all of these other Salvation Army and these, other local charities that are doing the best kind of work. That's always the best way, because government is not a very efficient way to distribute aid. But when you talk about a natural disaster like this that has cost, I don't even know what the number is, but it's easily in the ballpark of $100 billion, then, obviously if we had an earthquake in California, I don't think we'd provide the kind of aid that the people want. So when you get a once in a half century type of storm like this, it seems that the government should step in because we're one nation. But I still think that when we used to have natural disasters like the Chicago fire and the San Francisco earthquake 100 years ago, there was not a lot of federal money spent on that. And you know what? The Chicago and San Francisco and other areas recovered pretty quickly. We're a pretty resilient people, and we shouldn't always depend on government.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And it seems as though the natural emergency, natural disaster, like a hurricane or a massive fire or something like that, if you're going to make a case for a pool of money to come from everybody to support that, that's a good example. But we have positioned ourselves so far out of having the money to do that because we're spending it. My favorite study that I think Rand Paul outed, like it might have been 15 years ago, was like shrimp on treadmills or something, some sort of stupid study. Nancy Pelosi. Well,
there's a
go ahead.
Big story, by the way. Sorry to interrupt, but there was a big story in the New York Post today, my second favorite newspaper after the Wall Street Journal. And there's like tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars of waste and fraud and abuse in all of these government programs. And nobody does anything about it. And the Republicans in the House Ways and Means Committee called for an investigation into what happened to the PPP money and what happened to all the food stamp money and what happened to the Medicaid money and what happened to the COVID money, all that stuff. The unemployment benefit money that went to people living in Russia and, Mexico and all these Eastern European countries. And guess what? The Democrats said no. They don't want to do they don't even want to know how much was stolen.
Yeah. That's just the way government works. And we know you got to run. I'm going to ask you this question, and I know you got 30 seconds here. Nancy Pelosi tweeted, of 41 House Republicans representing states in Hurricane Ian's path, 40 just said no to disaster relief dollars for the communities, counting on them. Democrats will deliver for relief for the people. Did they try to pass a vote just to help Hurricane, or did they put other things in that bill? Do you know?
I don't know what's in the bill, but again, we don't have to spend tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars on this. Some relief is necessary, but everybody, if you care about what happened to people in Florida, and if you know somebody who lives there, send them $20 or $50 or $100 if you can. I guarantee you, that's going to be the money best spent. Person to person, and the Red Cross and the all of these groups do incredibly great work without a big government bureaucracy.
Yeah, it can be done. You can help without having to launder your money through the government. Thank you, Stephen Moore. We appreciate you so much.
All right, I got to jump on Fox. I'll see you soon. Bye.
We appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
That's for sure. Like I said earlier in the show, you see, we know we have Stephen Moore, and I cannot stress to you enough how grateful I am that Stephen Moore appreciates you so much that he cuts out time. Literally, he'll be on Fox News in a hot second here, maybe saying the same things that we're talking about here. but he cares about you. And that's why he comes on this show to talk to you. He doesn't need to talk to me publicly for us to have a conversation. He cares about talking to you. You're a valuable asset to this whole market. I can't, when Heritage, Brad, you've seen Heritage come in and talk about St. Louis specifically and how important St. Louis is to educated, politically engaged voters and taxpayers.
Yeah, they talk about St. Louis in the sense that St. Louis is the most educated, politically educated area that they ever go to when they do any of these events, which is really cool.
And engaged.
Yeah, and yeah. Engaged is an understatement, I guess. People here, they pay attention and they care. And when they care about something, they do something about it. So, yeah.
It's fantastic. You tweeted that Nancy Pelosi thing last night, and you criticized her comments on the vote for the disaster relief in Florida, suggesting that, was it 40 of the 41 Republicans? I just lost it. Oh, here it is. Of 41 House Republicans representing states in Hurricane Ian's path, 40 just said no to disaster relief dollars for the communities counting on them. Democrats will deliver that relief for the people. Well, I think that everybody's pretty in tune with the idea that if you want money handed out from the government, you should vote for the Democrats.
Yeah, that's the idea, right? But
it's not that simple.
No, the thing about this is she's couching this like, it's great politics if you stop and think about it, but she's couching an omnibus style bill in as a hurricane relief bill. And it's stuff that they do stuff like this all the time. Remember the Debt Reduction Act or the Inflation Reduction Act? And now when they brag about it, what are they bragging about? It's a climate bill. The debt reduction, the Inflation Reduction Act was a climate bill. And then they say, see, Republicans don't care about inflation. Otherwise, they would vote for this bill. Well, the bill's not actually an inflation reduction bill.
This was a Rush Limbaugh phrase, but a low information voter. This is a prime example of that. And, I want to put Rush's name in here in this conversation because it's his concept and I want to acknowledge that. But the idea that somebody would be engaged to vote, mostly because of matters of the heart. I think that they're passionate people who care and they have feelings. And I don't know. I don't really have feelings. I was going to say Republicans have feelings too. I do have feelings, but I work really hard to keep them where they belong. But if you are somebody who has a propensity to feel for people and you don't have all the information, and people like Nancy Pelosi are counting on you to not have the information, they require you to be uninformed, and they press upon your emotions, your heartstrings, so that you will do the number one thing that you're supposed to do, which is vote, and the number two thing that you're supposed to do, which is not think for yourself.
It irritates me.
It's had an effect. It's had some success. I was reading an article it was last night, and I'll share it with you, Brad, but it was talking about how there is a younger generation right now. I think it's probably younger than the millennials. So maybe it's the Gen Zers, the Hannahs of the world. And if you're missing Hannah today, you can come on to the live chat today, but certainly come on tomorrow. We will be acknowledging Hannah's birthday tomorrow. She might be listening right now. She might be napping. But she turned 21 on Sunday. And she was 21 and in the mood, so she was at Fast Eddie's. And she did not last all day. I was talking to her. She was coherent and talking to me last night at 11 o'clock. And then I got a message her at like 12:30. It's like, this is hilarious. I'm watching the news. I'm like, you're a nerd. What are you doing, Hannah? But she turned 21. She prepared to celebrate her birthday on Sunday, and she took today off. And we are very happy to provide her that opportunity. Ryan Wiggins will be back tomorrow as well. He's on vacation. Wasn't it a boys' trip or something?
Yeah.
He basically wanted to go visit the hurricane.
Yeah, toward the hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a totally Wiggins thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. He was like,
where's the hurricane going to be? Let's go there.
Yeah. He's like, oh, man, I'm worried about this hurricane because... Like, well, are you not going to go? No, I'm still going to go. I'm kind of hoping maybe the rain will keep people away.
Yeah. Regardless, when we're talking about the idea of what we do here, talk radio, this is what I was getting to, this article that I was reading the other day, and it was talking about there's this younger generation of people, and this was very intriguing to me and good for my future profession here. That was suggesting that younger people are tuning in to talk radio more than younger people had in the past because there is so much audio in the world. There are so many podcasts in the world. Younger folks don't have time. I subscribe to this. I have a podcast. I did a Disney travel podcast before the pandemic, and then that kind of went to pot when Disney closed. That sucked. I've done all this. I value podcasts. I don't listen to any podcasts in my life, not because I don't want to. There is no time in the day for me to sit and go, I would like to learn about this or be interested in a true crime podcast or something like that. Younger people don't have the time to take that in. Just like I don't have the time to read books. Like I can't even, if I'm going to read a book, like when I read Tyrus's book, it was the audiobook and it was to and from work and kids things as much as I could, but I couldn't listen to it when I was in the car with kids. Younger people are seeking, they're less social now than they were, than younger people have been in the past. I think COVID has something to do with that. And they are seeking connection in different places than younger people have before. Podcasts don't offer that the way live talk radio does. And that talk radio seems to scratch the itch that younger people are having, but it's got to be a different version of it. It's got to be, it can't be, it can't be what everybody is doing out there.
Right.
I'm hoping that we're doing something different here. And I grew up listening to Rush. I was a Rush baby. I watched the Rush Limbaugh TV show with my dad, like a total nerd. Thanks, Dad. I think it was because when I was 9, he called me a communist in the garage one time. And the reason he called me a communist is because I was helping him with his garden. I'm like, wouldn't it be great if everybody just like grew things and traded things and we could just share everything and then nobody would really need to work? And he just looked at me and goes, Annie, you're a communist. And he walked away. And it changed my whole life. And here I am, atoning from that one communist comment that I errantly made to my dad when I was 9. I know what it means to be attached to a voice on the radio from your side of this conversation. And I think that there are young people out there in a very, very crowded, noisy arena right now that are interested in being informed, not being forced to agree. I mean, I don't do the brand of radio, and if I ever slip into this, my apologies for failing, but I don't do the brand of radio where I get on here and call the other side a bunch of names. I don't think that that's valuable. If there's something to criticize, it's their policy. That's why we're talking about them in the first place. I don't care how they look. I don't care how they dress. I don't care how they sound for the most part. Kamala Harris is my crutch, and I'm trying really hard, which is why we don't play a lot of sound from her, so I don't say mean things. It is important to remember that the future of where this country goes is in the young people, and those young people have to be reached. And they have to be talked to in a way that isn't super shouty and name-cally and just inherently mean, because politics is so freaking mean. It's angry, it's aggressive, and it's an absolute. You have to be all this or you have to be all that. And when you become all this or all that, you're not allowed to like even associate with the other side. Break that barrier down with people who matter in your life. The people who don't matter in your life, I don't care what you do with them. But for people and relationships that matter in your life, break that down, because the conversations around student loan forgiveness and interest rates and immigration and education and rights to address how you raise your own kid, these issues all will matter to these younger folks very quickly. Be a person when it touches their lives personally, be a person who they feel comfortable with going and saying, tell me a little bit more about what you think about this particular issue. Instead of being the person who they think is going to immediately say, told you so, about time you wised up. That's not how we grow our party. It's not how we fix our country. And I am invested in this for my children and my children's children and their children. And that's only going to be the case if we are the people who are willing to talk to those who disagree with us. Because right now, publicly, we're so divided, and the left is the leader in pulling at those heartstrings. Be somebody who's folks are willing to sit down and talk with and disagree with at the end and still care about one another. Let's take a quick break. We're going to talk to some people in my life that I know personally who are stepping into the fray to make a difference. 3 women in Madison County stepping up to the plate to give Southern Illinoisans a change in the way that they are represented in Springfield. 1 for the state Senate, 2 in the state House. Amy Elik, who's my representative after the redistricting. Jen Cordy, who I cannot wait to beat Katie Stewart, the Democrat who originally wrote the bill that became the Safety Act. That's a funny story. We'll tell you about that when we come back. And, of course, Erica Conway Harris, looking to run in the state Senate and will be a fantastic state senator representing people in Madison County. All in studio for the next 2 segments when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Second Amendment Radio is a staple of solid firearm information on 97.1 every weekend. Saturday from 3 to 4 and Sunday from noon to 1. It's Second Amendment Radio and the great outdoors. 97.1 FM Talk.
So Slim 180, the destination for weight loss for me personally. I have lost 22 pounds in less than a month in, I think it was April to May. I am so glad that I went to Slim 180 and was able to drop this weight. I'll tell you what, I've got some events coming up, going to be able to put on some fancy dresses. And when I am shopping for the sizes that I wore when I was in high school, I feel really good about that. And Slim 180 is there. MySlim180.com is the website. They have multiple programs that you can choose from. You don't have to do the same one I did, but you can certainly say, I heard about this on the Annie Frey Show. Tell me what Annie did. Can that work for me? What kind of success could I have? The numbers that you're going to hear, if you follow the program, are going to blow you away. Think about those Christmas photos that you're going to be in December. Would you like to be 20 pounds lighter, 50 pounds lighter? Maybe even more. Reach out to Slim 180, tell them about your needs and your goals, and find out what you can do and achieve by Christmas with Slim 180. You will be so glad you did. Find out more online at myslim180.com.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet, and the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed. I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. Cowboy boots, running shoes, walking shoes, flat shoes, heels. Makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Hi, George Weber. Check out my alter ego, Skip Weber, every Saturday night, 9 to 11. The Saturday Evening Rock Show, the greatest rock and roll show on a talk station in the world. Don't miss it.
Mark Cox here. The next Protecting Your Retirement educational event is Tuesday, October 4th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. Seating's limited, so go online at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and concerned how all the market volatility is hurting your retirement accounts? Would you like to know why our clients have not lost a penny with all the market losses this year? Did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can now roll over your 401k tax-free to protect your nest egg and still generate more income than most investment options? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this last event of the year.
Protect your retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, October 4th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Call 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
Annie Frey here to talk to you about the ENTs that are going to put you at the center of their practice. I'm talking about Gateway ENT. Online at gatewaydoctors.com, you're going to learn about one of the oldest oldest private practice ear, nose, and throat groups in the area with multiple convenient locations for you. West County, Sunset Hills, Festus. For more than 40 years, they've been happily caring for children and adults. They are the most cost-effective alternative to ENT practices that are employed by large hospital systems. Learn more online at gatewaydoctors.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. That's my friends Mark and Neil Gelman at thegelmanteam.com.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow. At AMCO.
AA MCO.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we've seen. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Now, darling.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Monday. Very glad to be here with you today. And, we are big on this show about putting the spotlight on people who are standing in the fray to represent us and common sense. And being from Illinois, as I am, it's hard to find people who are in elected government that are representing common sense, let alone me and whatever ration of common sense that I have. And so when we have the opportunity to highlight people who are looking to step up, it's I feel responsibility to make sure that I share my spotlight that we have here from noon to 3 on the Annie Frey Show with these individuals. So today we have some Madison County candidates in studio with us. We are taking questions as well on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. You go there and you just put your question in. Brad will highlight them, and I'll see if I can get them asked before the end of the hour. They're going to be in studio with us here for the next 30 minutes. So let's welcome in Erica Conway Harris, I should say, who is running for the state Senate seat. Erica, thank you so much for being in here with us today.
Thanks for having us, Annie.
So you are somebody who has served in the Madison County Board. You have experience in local government. You're stepping it up to run for the state Senate. Republicans, I should say, are in the super minority in the state Senate as they are in the state House. And if you were to win your race, you would be flipping it red from blue. The person who has currently been in that, Rochelle Ogg Crow, was nominated by the Biden administration, I believe. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so she's no longer in there. They've replaced her. I look at Rochelle Ogg Crow as somebody who was there when the Safety Act was passed, was there when a lot of the other things that have taken Illinois in such a direction that it's in right now. She's been there and she's been a part of it. I have not seen, as my state senator, because you would be my state senator if you win, I have not seen her advocating for things that I think common sense voters in the Madison County area and the district that you'd represent, this 56th district, I haven't seen her representing my needs and interests.
Thanks, Annie. That you raise a great point. I feel like the candidate that's running on common sense. I'm a mom, a small business owner. Like you mentioned, I ran for county board in 2016 because I was not happy with the value we were getting for the property taxes we were paying, and I wanted a seat at the table to be able to have a little bit more of a voice there. I'm super proud to say that after that election, I did vote, and we successfully lowered the county portion of taxes without cutting any services. In fact, we were able to still cut taxes and still fund different activities that we needed to. We increased funding for the sheriff's department. We were able to renovate our jail, which was in much needed of having that happen. So really just taking a smarter, common sense approach look, just like we would with our own budgets and our personal finances or our small businesses, to make sure that we are getting the best value for what we're spending.
Erica, you make such a good point because the Madison County Board has not been a Republican majority board for a long time. You were part of flipping that, as I understand it, and you went into a blue situation with a brand new Republican majority, and you made a measurable difference. As somebody who lives in Madison County myself, you know what it's like to go into a situation. Super majority of Democrats right now, super minority of Republicans. You flip the seat, that's one step closer to getting out of that. And to make an immediate difference for people who are needing it in the 56.
Yes.
Yes. You've done a very good job of that. Also in here with us, my new state representative, because they decided to take me out of Katie Stewart's district. I don't know why they would want me to not be in Katie Stewart's district anymore. She is the Democrat representative for the 112th. We have Amy Elik, who represents the 111th. They drew a circle around my house and said, Amy, here, you take Annie. You deal with her. And I am excited to have a common sense representative. But you've been in Springfield. You've seen what the Democrats are able to do with the super majority. Tell me, Amy Elik, so far, because is this your second election?
Yes.
This is your second election. Tell me the difference between being in a super minority of Republicans and maybe winning some seats, like we're going to speak with Jen Cordy, who's going to beat Katie Stewart here in a minute. What would that mean for your ability to do your job in Springfield for your constituents?
Every single Republican seat that we add to the General Assembly gets us better legislation, better balance, and a more a thriving Illinois government that actually works for taxpayers and citizens. We've got a lot that the Republicans have been able to stop, and no one sees that, and that's fine. We're not looking for the glory for that. There is so much more, though, that we can do to have better legislation and just a safer Illinois, a lower cost Illinois, if we can all work together and have more balance.
So Amy Elik in here with us representing the 111th district, running for re-election. I will be casting my vote for Amy Elik this November. You're asking for a safer Illinois, but I think that the Democrats have done a great job of doing that because they passed the SAFE-T Act, which means that they're trying to make it safer. At least that's what they're hoping that uninformed voters might think.
That's what they are going to tell you. However, just look at the confusion, the uncertainty that has resulted from that act when we look at the fact that no cash bail will be in place on January 1st, 2023. I'm really, really glad that voters and constituents in Illinois are kind of having a resurgence of questions about what in the world is this act and what's going on. I'm glad that that's coming to the forefront again. We've been speaking on it since it passed in January 2021, but it really needs to be on the minds and hearts of voters when they go and look see who they're going to decide on to vote for Senate, state representatives, and races like that. This law is going to add uncertainty and confusion, as I said, to things like non-detainable offenses, no cash bail. That is exactly what is harmful to law-abiding citizens and victims in Illinois. Both Republicans and Democrats are speaking out about how bad this is. It was vaguely written, pushed through in the dead of night through the Senate, and then a couple hours before I was actually sworn in that day, on my very first day in the General Assembly, before I was sworn in the last actions of Michael Madigan's supermajority and his 50 years of reign, they pushed that through as, handing out favors to other Democrat legislators. It is dangerous for Illinois.
I think that you said Republicans and Democrats are standing out against it. 100 out of 102 states' attorneys, that is absolutely a bipartisan group of people. That is a group of informed people in this state, Republicans and Democrats, who are saying this is a bad idea. This shouldn't be the case. 100 out of 102 states' attorneys saying no, bad, no bueno for the SAFE-T Act. But interestingly enough, we reached out to Katie Stewart, who is my current representative. It was her bill that started, wasn't it a pharmaceutical bill or something like that? She put in some sort of pharmaceutical bill. And this is how crap goes down in Springfield. And this is why I want anybody who's listening right now in Missouri or Illinois to understand how these Democrats work in the state of Illinois. Katie Stewart puts in some sort of, to lower cost of pharmaceuticals or something. I don't even remember. It doesn't even matter because what the Democrats did is they said, all right, we're going to take your bill and we're just going to make it a no cash bill. And then that happened. And then it passed. Katie Stewart didn't even vote to support this bill, which I thought, wow, that's amazing. A Democrat who says, no, this is a bad bill for Illinois. Come on the Annie Frey Show and tell me why. Why'd you vote no? Why is this bad for Illinoisans? She won't do it. She turned me down. You know why? Because she voted no. This is me saying this. She voted no so that people can't put out on campaign flyers telling the world that she voted yes for the Safety Act. She doesn't want people to be able to say that, but she won't come on this show and explain why she voted no. Well, she voted no because she was told to vote no. That's why Katie Stewart voted no, because when it came to campaign time, it would be disadvantageous for her to be running against Jen Cordy, and Jen Cordy coming on the show here, who's running in the 112th, saying, yeah, you know, Katie Stewart voted in favor of this. It started as her bill. She should be the number one person out there right now saying, this is a bad bill. I voted no. The Democrats played shady, dark of night games to take my bill that I was trying to do something good and turned it into this. And so I voted no. She should come on the show and say it. She won't do it. Jen Cordy wants to beat her, and, you know, she can spend, Katie Stewart can spend all of her time talking in libraries and collecting tampons for the rest of the community, even if she's not an elected official. I digress. Jen, you stepped into the fray. You are not a politician, as I understand it, correct?
That is correct. I am a stay-at-home mom. I have 3 children. I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 17 years. I was a social worker at Barnes Jewish Hospital before that, so I have my master's degree. And I've been very actively involved with our churches, the community, volunteering. But the government overreach, I decided it was time to step up to the plate.
Is that not, I mean, if you're listening right now and you're somebody who has watched nationally the way Democrats, it's a very incestuous way that politics works, is you just take care of your own, the right people get ushered in, the money goes to those right people. It's a whole system. It's not set up to benefit you. Jen took an opportunity and said, I'd like to try to make a difference here. And you stepped up, and it's not easy. I mean, I know what politics are from my angle of it, Jen, but this has been, you are up against a machine of money that is just funneling against you, somebody with no political record, because you stepped up and said, I want to make a difference. You are seen as a threat. They are investing a lot of money in Katie Stewart's race. What is it about Katie Stewart that they're trying to protect?
Well, I mean, she is completely funded by Chicago money. She's funded by special interest groups, the Democrats, lawyers. If you look at her funding, you can tell that she is not being even given a cent by anybody local. So they're protecting her because they know that the Chicago Democrats can completely control her. She votes every single time their way. And if she votes against something, it's because somebody else voted for it and she was allowed to vote against it. She is not thinking for her constituents. In fact, at one point, somebody even asked her, did you ask your constituents if you want this bill? She said no. And I have that on tape.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to ask Jen about the sex education direction that the state of Illinois is going. I'm a mom of 4. I am married to a public school teacher. I see a lot of this stuff happening. I care deeply about the direction that the bureaucrats and the elected Democrats are trying to push our state in the direction of this incredibly overly progressive move towards inserting sex education in the lives of very, very young children. One of the motivating factors behind Jen Cordy getting into this race, we're going to ask her about what's at stake in this election on that particular issue, mom to mom, right here on the Annie Frey Show when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I won't cry. I won't cry. No, 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 no. I won't shed no tears. Just as long as you stand by me.
The Mark Reardon Show.
State Representative Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
The governor, I think, really wisely said, hey, let's do this historic tax cut, drop the bottom rung of our income tax. We want people to be able to keep the money that they're making.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, Ed Brock, everybody. If you love Halloween like I do yourself a favor and visit Johnny Brock's Dungeon. Why shop those tiny pop-up shops when you can shop 30,000 square feet of locally owned Halloween fun? We're open all year at I-44 in Jefferson on the edge of Soulard. Johnny Brock's Dungeon, a St. Louis must-see.
The Closet Factory, online at closetfactory.com. If you are looking for personalized, customized organization for your home, Closet Factory is a great destination for your phone call. One of the things that I loved about Closet Factory was when they came to my house, they said, Andy, don't clean up your trouble areas. We need to see your trouble areas because that's what we're going to fix for you. Well, that sounds fantastic. To be able to have someone come in and look at your needs and to develop a system that works for you, that looks beautiful, it's going to increase the value of your home, and it's going to personalize the usage of the space in your house. It almost feels like you've gotten square footage back in your house. They are wonderful to work with. They're a St. Louis family business here that has pleased so many different customers asking with all different kinds of budgets, all different kinds of needs. They do wonderful work. They're the best to work with in the business. If you have a customized storage solution problem in your life, be it your home, your closets, your pantry, your garage, your basement, your place of business, your church, contact our sponsors at the Closet Factory, online at closetfactory.com.
Congress has authorized trillions in new spending, along with doubling the size of the IRS agency in just the last few months. Do you think that is by accident? No, it is with a purpose, to go after small businesses, employees, and individuals who have not filed or paid their taxes. If this is you, don't panic, just call. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org, and for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic, driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being here. Sweet Emotion played at the Cardinals game when I was there Saturday, and it was just like in my veins. I can't wait for playoff baseball. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, we have in studio special guests, Jennifer Cordy, who's running for the 112th district, the state house district there in Illinois, and I'm looking forward to Jen Cordy's victory. We have Amy Elik, currently in the 111th, running for re-election in the 111th, doing a fantastic job for the 111th, and Erica Conway Harris, who is running to flip the blue state Senate District 56 to red. As we said right before the break, a couple minutes to you, Jen Cordy, 112th district candidate for the Republicans. Sex education in Illinois is unbelievable. What people know they're aghast by, there is even more that people don't know quite yet. What have you learned in your pursuit to represent these people and maybe make a difference in this regard?
Well, I've learned that a lot of it is not friendly to talk about on the radio. And if that's the case, we should not be talking about it in classrooms.
What a great point. Spot, yes. Duh. Hello. That's such a great point, Jen.
But I think we're putting our teachers in a very awkward spot. Teachers just want to teach, and kids honestly should have no job. The job of this current sex education bill is social justice. A job of a child is to go to school, have fun, play, and just be innocent. We don't need to go through all this stuff. And it's really important for people to look this up. It's the National Sex Education Standards version 2. I'm going to have it on my website eventually. And it's just really important for everybody to look this information up and read it over and over again. And then when you're reading it and it says define a certain word, go to the very bottom and you will see the definitions. I was actually rather shocked with several of the definitions.
The website is jennifercorte.com, Korte, jennifercorte.com. And I will say in ways that I try to communicate over there when we're talking about these types of sensitive issues, that nothing that they're talking about when it comes to sexual education really points to the idea of how it affects reproduction. Granted, I will also say that the Democrats are not really interested in reproduction. They're just really interested in the social justice side of it, like Jennifer was just saying. But as low as did you say it was 11 years old, is talking about like different forms of intercourse, and then also even 3rd to 5th grade?
It starts at kindergarten. And what's really interesting is they don't even talk about reproduction. The definition of reproduction is not even defined.
We're not educating on sex because it's how we get more people.
Correct. They make that very clear.
Yes. And I mean, we're talking about like self ways, wink, wink, to in the 3rd to 5th grade. Mm-hmm. What in the freaking world is this? This is madness. Everybody knows it's madness. And in November, you have to vote common sense, folks, into Springfield. You have to. You have no choice. And your job starts today. Go to jennifercorte.com to learn more about what she represents. And please, 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 please get involved so that in November we can replace Katie Stewart. That is a blue to red seat. Amy Elik, you are in the legislature right now representing the 111th. You have done so wonderfully. People say the greatest things about you, but like the sex education bill, the Safety Act, among many other things, there is no promise that I can see coming from Democrats who are currently in the supermajority. Governor Pritzker, if he is to get reelected, there's nothing on the horizon that they promise that seems to be advocating for my life as a taxpayer in the state of Illinois, my life as a parent in the state of Illinois, my life as a just freedom-loving, liberty-loving American in the state of Illinois. They've got solutions for every one of the problems that I don't currently know that I have.
Very well said. You're absolutely right. And I'll tell you where it's coming from. It's coming from the most liberal wing of the Democratic Party, the Chicago Democrats. They have their agenda. When you have Democrats, maybe this, south of Springfield saying, well, it's okay because I'm a conservative Democrat. I'm here to tell you those conservative Democrats or even moderate Democrats have no power in their own caucus. And they can't speak up about it.
Which is why Katie Stewart,
silenced.
Which is why Katie Stewart won't come up, because her vote was what she was told to do. Her no vote against the Safety Act, she was instructed on what she was going to do. Politically expedient for the Democrats supermajority for her to vote no. That's what she did, because Katie Stewart represents Democrats. She doesn't represent the 112th. We're going to take an extra minute here, so we'll go to 5750. Eric, I want to talk to you about the Safety Act. I want to talk to you about, Madison County specifically, your experience, like you were talking about, working to invest in the sheriff's department, working to invest in the local jail, working to invest in law and order. As somebody who was on the Madison County board, you're running for the Illinois State Senate District 56. This would be a blue seat flipped red if you vote for Erica Conway Harris. Talk to me about the Safety Act and how important this is to people who you talk to on the streets.
So I think part of this that we are failing to mention, clearly we are going to have a less safe environment, but it is also going to cost us more. And so that cost is something that hasn't really been discussed a whole lot. Some suburban counties, Kane County has already come out and said that this will cost them $3 million to implement. They haven't raised taxes at their county level for like 10 years. They're now talking about it because of the Safety Act. DuPage County is saying that it's going to cost them $12 million. Madison County, we're still figuring out the numbers. But like I told you, I'm super proud that since my time on the county board, we have lowered taxes. We've lowered taxes. And now we are going to be in a place where we are going to have to make some very tough decisions as we are looking at all these mandates that are coming down, not knowing what grants are going to be available with them. And the Safety Act is really forcing counties to need to decide between reducing safety services or finding new revenue, such as increasing taxes or both. So
imagine a bill called the Safety Act that requires people to raise their taxes locally and makes you less safe. That can only be put together by the Democrats. Good grief. I mean, it's like they manifest new ways to be dumb, and it drives me crazy. I want you to understand each of these women in here are putting themselves out there for you to support. It is a very precarious thing to do, to step in and run for office. Amy, your political career this is your second election. You're running for re-election for the first time. Talk to me about your long storied political career before your last election.
My long storied political career, I was a township trustee in a very small rural township where I live for about 7 years, which I absolutely love doing because that is the lowest, the smallest form of government that you can be a part of. And I did that because I love my community.
Tell me real quick about the 111th. Name some towns real quick. I'll let each of you do that with your districts.
Godfrey and Alton, follow the river south, Roxana, Wood River, East Alton, Pontoon Beach, Granite City. The new district, as you said, goes out 270, picks up Glen Carbon and some Maryville and Collinsville addresses.
Yeah, I think they tried to take away some conservative voters from the Katie Stewart district, and they're like, here, Amy's good. She's doing her job. Let's give her some more of those conservatives so that they don't vote for the Republican challenger to Katie Stewart in the 112th district. Jen Cordy is running to defeat Katie Stewart in that district in the 112th. Jennifer, Cordy.com. Real quick, your district, name some of the towns in that.
Edwardsville, Maryville, Collinsville, Caseyville, Granite City, O'Fallon. I mean, it's all over.
It's right there. And then you've got Erica Conway Harris. You're running for the Illinois State Senate District 56. Senate districts are a little bit bigger, but just kind of give me the runaround real quick here.
If either Jen or Amy is on your ballot, you can vote for me.
That's fantastic. And you can always go look. Early voting is open. Go vote now. Get done with this interview. Put us on the Odyssey app. Follow 97.1 FM Talk. Stick with the Annie Frey Show. And I don't know, take us into the polling booth and make them tell you to turn it off. That'd be funny. They're going to tell you to turn it off. I don't think you can listen to it, but you can try. Thank you, ladies. You're doing wonderful work, and I am so happy to support you. And they will be back here in the studio with me before Election Day. Don't go away. More Annie Frey Show in a minute.
Some things happen slowly, and maybe you don't notice right away that you're slowing down, that you don't recover as quickly from injuries or sore muscles, and you kind of wonder why, but you just go on with your life. Victory Men's Health was set up with you in mind. They have medical doctors who've been working in the area of men's health specifically for 30 years. If you've got low T, if you've got ED, if you're dealing with any of those issues, don't suffer in silence. You can thank me later. Book your appointment at victorymenshealth.com.
The mountains came over, we were having spaghetti when we suddenly noticed that we started getting sweaty. So we grabbed the keys and we ate it in the van. That's what my friend said, call Jerry Kelly, man, JerryKelly.com. Give him a call even though it's late, JerryKelly.com. Cause Jerry Kelly's always open up until 8. They're certified technicians, I've been told. We'll help you when it's hot and help you when it's cold, JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on, JerryKelly.com.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomeStLouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com, Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com, Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com, or call 314-782-8000.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's considered a high-stakes trial over the Capitol riot. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Several members of the Oath Keepers group, including the founder, accused by federal prosecutors of plotting for weeks to stop the transfer of power after the 2020 election.
Assistant U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Nessler, in his opening statement, said Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes and 4 associates' goal was to touch off an armed rebellion at the Capitol to stop the transfer of power. Rhodes and the others are on trial for seditious conspiracy for what the Justice Department says was the intentional use of letters, meetings, and encrypted apps to carry out their plans. The federal government last won a seditious conspiracy case in the 1990s. A conviction could mean up to 20 years in prison.
Fox's Gernal Scott, the judge has denied defense requests to move the trial out of D.C. New policies in the U.S. Interior Department requiring its law enforcement officers to wear body cameras.
The new policies apply to officers who work in the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Bureau of Land Management, Fish and Wildlife Service, and the National Park Service. Interior Secretary Deb Haaland launched a task force last year to examine their law enforcement officers' responses. Earlier this year, President Biden signed an executive order mandating federal law enforcement agencies to adopt body-worn camera policies.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal, the Interior Department is also requiring that camera footage from incidents resulting in death or serious injury be released more quickly, and it's restricting the use of no-knock warrants. President Biden visiting Puerto Rico for a first-hand look at hurricane recovery efforts. Spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre getting questions on the way there about a comment from the vice president on equity and hurricane relief.
We also know that some people, particularly in lower income communities, have a hard time accessing that help.
She says they want to remove barriers so everyone gets the help they need. An hour to the close, the Dow's up 877. America's listening to Fox News.
What did 9 out of 10 people who died from COVID have in common?
They were 50 or older.
And if you have a condition like heart disease or diabetes, your risk is even higher.
COVID vaccines lower the risk of death.
Get your updated vaccine now. It could save your life.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The best part about taking ZzzQuil Pure Z's Sleep Plus Next Day Energy at night is actually the next morning. I wake up alert with none of the grogginess from taking too much melatonin. Pure Z Sleep Plus Next Day Energy is a bilayer tablet with immediate release melatonin and extended release B vitamins to help me fall asleep naturally and wake refreshed. It's my secret weapon for a great night's sleep and a great morning.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Can't beat that.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies. Sleep better, wake your best.
Air Comfort Service, Heating and Cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Quiet times continue with our weather, but the atmosphere is starting to move a little bit. All about sunshine this afternoon. Our high hovering around 72. Clear skies, 60s tonight. Chilly overnight, 42. Tuesday, sunshine, 75. Wednesday, partly sunny, 78. Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a sprinkle or a brief shower. It'll be hard to find, 78. But much cooler Friday, the high only 62. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
How do you feel, Jesse Jane, when you find out that the Air Force is now telling its cadets that they have to be more inclusive and they can't use the term boyfriend or girlfriend or mom and dad because that may alienate people?
Weekdays from 5 to 9 a.m.
You know, the Air Force cadets, God bless them, and all of the airmen that go in, God bless them, you know, because many of them did not sign up for this. Let's be honest. Most of them did not sign up for this.
97.1 FM Talk.
10-year-old George Haruza and his parents, with only what they could carry in a suitcase, made a daring escape from behind the Iron Curtain of communism. George Haruza and his family risked their lives fleeing communist oppression to secure the freedom and promise of America. George Haruza quickly learned English, studied hard, and worked harder. Overcoming every hurdle in his way, George Haruza is now a world-renowned surgeon, educator, and physician leader.
So I do believe in a limited government. Governments should provide for the people who are really in need, encourage everybody else to rise up to their potential, and then mostly get out of the way.
Now, George Haruza wants to bring his record of getting good things done to the state Senate. And George Haruza understands the mission. George Haruza for State Senate, a record of getting good things done. Paid for by Haruza for Missouri.
You know, we talk a lot on the show about taking action, not just complaining all the time. I have been so blessed to be a partner with Vitae Foundation, who is this in action. When you go to adsforlife.org, that's Vitae Foundation's website, you are going to see the events that they have, the ways that you can donate and support, the ways that you can participate in reaching people who may be considering abortion and helping direct them to a place that will give them real information, real science. This is what your baby looks like in your womb right now. Those types of things. And one of the events that they have coming up that I want you to check out at adsforlife.org is the website so you can get your tickets, is Abby Johnson. She is coming to St. Charles on Thursday, October 27th. She's the keynote speaker for Vitae Foundation's annual pro-life event, and you need to be there. She wrote the book, and there's a movie adaptation called Unplanned. You may have heard of it. Get your seats reserved today to see Abby Johnson when she comes to St. Charles. All the information for Vitae Foundation's event online at adsforlife.org.
Enjoy a better way to buy pre-owned at Bommarito. Shop thousands of vehicles at our 20 locations. Every make, every model, every price range. See it today. Drive it today. Buying 100% online. Use the Bommarito Fast Pass. Then count on Bommarito for service after the sale. A better experience, a better price for pre-owned. Go with the automotive leader. Bommarito, Missouri's #1 automotive group. Open 24/7 at Bommarito.com.
Would you like a cleaning product that can be used in the garage, the laundry, and the kitchen, and save space in your cabinet? Hi, I'm Bruce Fabrizio, inventor of Simple Green. To learn more, visit us at simplegreen.com.
Want immediate cash for your home or see what your home is really worth in today's market? Find out for free from the local experts, my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out thegelmanteam.com today. That's thegelmanteam.com.
With Odyssey music stations, there's a different station for every taste, and they're all free. Listen to 97.1 live on your phone or browse the selection of music stations and make a soundtrack to your workday. It's all at Odyssey.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, that's an interesting observation. I haven't seen that as much. But, you know, what he's doing, I think, I don't know how many points he gets, because I think we expect this of our governors, right? In a time of crisis, they're supposed to put politics aside. I think that this episode, though, underscores just how important the federal government is. And it's interesting now that he has to sort of play nice with these institutions that historically he has had such a contentious relationship with.
Is that CNN's music?
No, I think they add that whenever the other news organizations covered. I've noticed that whenever you send me audio from an article,
sounds like the October version of that report.
They throw some bed music in there, and
I'm just going to sidestep. Totally getting sidetracked here, but this is important. When I'm watching TV, like regular TV in October, with my family on stations that are expected to be airing family-friendly content, do not show me movie trailers of like super crazy murdery types of things that I'm afraid of when my kids are in the room. I don't know. I think that's not, I wouldn't notice that if I didn't have kids. I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I notice it. Yeah. It's like, it's October now. We got to put on the slasher movies. All the slasher movies, get them up on there.
Man, I was watching a Cardinals game on Bally Sports. Now, it's the app. I don't know how that changes things. But there is a Venus commercial, and that's a razor that shaves hair. And the entire commercial was that you were supposed to talk about a certain area of your body that maybe you might shave. And they're like, we need to say this word out loud. And I'm like, no, we don't. If you want to talk about this, do it in a more appropriate, less family-oriented atmosphere. Because just because you have some sort of issue that you need to push in front of people's faces and that you deem important, the networks or whomever is trafficking this stuff needs to take into consideration the audience that might be viewing the content that's on that channel or app or whatever it is and say, this is not the kind of ad that we want to air here. And in October, it turns all murdery, like I said, or like supernatural crazy stuff. And you put a 15-second commercial up there, you can scar my kid for life in 15 seconds. It's not good.
No. It's crazy. Like, if you just stop and think back to some of the stuff that you saw when you were younger that you weren't actually supposed to see.
It, from Stephen King.
You can still see it. You can still remember it. You can still feel the emotions that you felt whenever you saw it. Be it terrifying or confusing or whatever it was. But, yeah, there was a movie. I forget what the movie was about, but there was a crocodile in this African country. His name was Gustav. And it was like based on a true story, and it was a man-eater. Well, they took this and they blew it out over the top.
You know, Gustav the crocodile.
Yeah. Google it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But anyway, they blew this they made this story and then they blew this out of proportion. So it went from like, you know, a documentary. This was like a Jaws type thing. And I forget the name of the movie, but the whole goal of the movie was them to get this crocodile. And like this crocodile, I was flipping through the channels and my niece, who was like 4 or 5, was sitting next to me, and I flipped onto this channel. And the crocodile came out of the water and bit somebody in half and then went back into the water. And I was looking at the screen like, I can't believe that just happened. Then I looked down at her and her eyes were huge. And I was like, oh, no.
You can't undo it.
No.
You can't unsee it. And like your little kid mind doesn't even need context. It's only visual. You don't even need to have the sound on. You know, the Venus commercial, I mean, it just said, say pubic hair. That's what it was. It was like a hashtag. And I'm like, no, don't. And my 6-year-old was like, Mom, what's blub? And I was like, why am I having this conversation? I want to know if Albert's going to hit 690. And here we are talking about this.
Yeah.
I will never buy Venus products specifically because of that. And it's so frustrating to me because there are consequences to these types of actions. And it's very indicative of what we were speaking with Jennifer Cordy, who's running to be a Republican, flipping a blue seat in the Illinois State House to get us out of that super minority, was talking about the sex ed stuff in Illinois schools, public schools. Listen, here's the deal. To suggest that I don't want education on specific topics at a specific age of child doesn't mean that I'm judging anybody who engages in any of that. I mean, I don't want to talk to you about it. I don't care if you are a grown person and I am a grown. I don't want to talk to you about that. The essence of sex ed in our classrooms, there is such a wide spectrum of what is the end goal of sex education in a classroom. The initial response that I have, and what chances are, if you're listening to this show right now, I mean, I'm 38, so imagining that the majority of people listening are at my age or older, not everybody. The idea of sex education was to teach reproduction. I mean, that was the point. Where do people come from? Well, let's talk about it so that you understand your anatomy, biology, and science. Ironically, all of the things behind anatomy and biology and science are now told aren't true anymore, which is not science at all. But the idea of reproduction is not the goal of sex education anymore. Sex education is implemented for the purpose of teaching children not the purpose of reproduction, but more the purpose of pleasure. And the fact that you don't need to do it in the confines of what would be considered traditional anymore. You don't even need other people. And they'll teach you that in 3rd or 5th grade. That's unbelievable. And we should be outraged. We should simply be outraged. And this is being shoved in people's face, and nobody is coming out and saying, what? And making a stop.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't, like, whenever I was in school, you could do sex ed and you could do it very clinically and very sanitary and very, not into the weeds, not apolitical, not just, you're doing it to show the mechanics, the nuts and bolts of what it is and what results from it. And you don't have to get into it's good or it's bad or it's right or it's wrong.
This is what it is.
Yeah, this is what it is and this is what its purpose is. And now, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about you. You were talking about that commercial. You're like, why do I have to talk about this? Because somebody else decided that they wanted to talk about it in front of your kid so that now you have to talk about it to your kid. They want to force the issue. They don't want to let you do it and you to understand my child is ready, my child is not ready. It's all about them forcing the issue to make it forefront. And I can't, for the life of me, I don't know why. Why is it important that kindergartners know about this? And why is it important that 6th and 7th graders know about this? Why is it important? There's no good reason for it to be important.
Politics. That's how disgusting it is. I mean, it's really, really gross. You are exactly right. They have determined that something needs to be discussed in your home in lieu of you making that decision for your children. And the truth is, do they have the right to do that? I guess they do. Do networks have the right to say, yeah, this is fine? Yeah, they do. And then you have, as a consumer, have a right to say, I'm not good with this. If it turns into, I can think of like fast food commercials that were out there before that I actually wrote emails about saying, please stop selling cheeseburgers like this. I don't want my 5-year-old son watching TV and then watching a sexualized gigantic cheeseburger. I mean, I get it. You have the choice to do that, but I just want you to know that as a consumer, I don't appreciate it. In a free market society, I have the right to do that. They have the right to tell me to take a hike. It's that simple. If they determine they sell more cheeseburgers because sexy girl who's never had a cheeseburger in her life is riding a mechanical bull and it's dripping all over the place, and that's what's important to them, then they go on and do it. And I don't buy their cheeseburgers. It's that simple. I go back to the initial clip there, and we're talking about Ron DeSantis in Florida. Man, they hate Ron DeSantis. They hate Ron DeSantis because he's the substance without the baggage of Trump. Mm-hmm. He has the same propensity to punch back twice as hard as Donald Trump. But they have to, it's interesting to me to watch them have to go at him for issues. Not all the ancillary nonsense baggage that comes along with the conversation around President Trump. They have to go in on him for issues. And he's really good at handling it.
Do you stand behind Lee County's decision to not have that mandatory evacuation until the day before the storm?
Well, where was your industry station when the storm hit? Were you guys in Lee County? No, you were in Tampa. So that's, they were following the weather track, and they had to make decisions based on that. But, 72 hours, they weren't even in the cone. 48 hours, they were on the periphery. So you got to make the decisions the best you can. I will say, they delivered the message to people. They had shelters open. Everybody had adequate opportunity to at least get to a shelter within the county. But, a lot of the residents did not want to do that. I think probably for various reasons. Some people just don't want to leave their home, period. They're island people, whatever. But I think part of it was so much attention was paid to Tampa that I think a lot of them probably thought that they wouldn't get the worst of it.
Interesting the way he frames that question and answers it right on the nose.
Some other neighboring counties, though, did have mandatory evacuations before Tuesday.
Well, right. But our neighboring, if you look at Tuesday morning, they had moved the track down. Models started showing it going to Sarasota, so so they did that. I was in Sarasota that day with them when they were expanding some of their evacuations. Charlotte, I think, did the same thing either Monday night or Tuesday morning. But don't forget Sunday, 11 a.m. advisory, it was going to go to Taylor County in North Florida. And so, at some point you got to look to see kind of where this thing is going. So, I think that it's easy to say in hindsight, we had most of our supply station in the Tampa Bay area. as that track moved, we shifted our response further south as well. Now, we said there would be impacts for sure, and even when it was going to hit North Florida, it's such a big storm, there was going to be impacts in southwest Florida as well. But the difference between impacts and having the eye go there is much different. And for most of Sunday, Monday, and even into Tuesday, it was 150 miles away from.
So here you have Ron DeSantis talking to this reporter. And the question that the reporter poses to Ron DeSantis is, why'd you blow it? Not the way she said it, of course. But when you listen to the question that she asked, she's like, why did you not give the evac order for this area? He points out a very smart move. He's like, where were your cameras when this was taking place? You were in the same place as we were, and the reports at the time were as such. He doesn't get wrapped up in name calling. He tells it like it is. And he says, this is the information we had at the time. We made the decisions based on the information that was presented to us. We adapted as we went. But he answers it with facts. And the thing that I appreciate so much from Ron DeSantis in this clip here, he's calm. He's convicted. He's confident. But he's not insulting. She might feel that her intelligence was insulted, but that's a personal problem. Mm-hmm. It's not a matter of coming out and saying, you know, what a stupid question that is, and then laying into her. He says, where were you? And he makes the point that they were in the same place. And then he goes on to explain his actions, and they should speak for themselves. Yeah, that's kind of like what I wanted to point out is I was scrolling Twitter and I saw this start coming across my feed. Some of the sensationalism of like what Ron DeSantis destroys CNN reporter. One from the left was like Ron DeSantis explodes on a CNN reporter. And then I go to pull the audio this morning. I'm like, he didn't really explode or destroy. I mean, he destroyed her narrative. He blew up the narrative, but he wasn't personally attacking her. He was using their situation as an example of, we thought the storm was going to hit here. And then as the time went on, it shifted and shifted and shifted and then did there. So Lee County evacuated as soon as they saw that they were going to be in the path of the storm, which was later than what we thought initially. You know, and I'll even say this too. And I'm not giving CNN credit here, but I'm saying this in a way that sets the table for anybody who's consuming this, because perfect point, Brad. When you go through and you scroll things and you're like, Ron DeSantis destroys, decimates, blows reporter out of the water, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm tired of that. It's exhausting. And if you actually take in the content, you realize something a little bit different happened. What if a CNN reporter asks a question? I mean, I will ask questions of guests that I know the answers to, or at least I assume that I know the answers to, and I'm surprised from time to time that I don't. I will ask questions that give the expert on the issue, who's on the show, who's given us their time, I will ask the question in a way that is it's the assumption that is being made on Twitter. Oh, Ron DeSantis blew this reporter out of the water for saying such and such. If a reporter were to go to Ron DeSantis and say, why is it that you didn't evacuate this county and you evacuated the other one? Ron DeSantis might be assuming that because it's a CNN reporter, that there is a thing behind that there is an animus that exists in that question and its presentation. That's on CNN. Because CNN has had that history. That's the context of a question like that to Ron DeSantis. In my opinion, that might actually be a good question by a reporter because it gives Ron DeSantis the opportunity to answer a question that he might be being politically attacked in Florida for that. Like, why wasn't Ron DeSantis telling these people to go away? It's because he hates you. I mean, that's the campaign ad. That's how it evolves into this political attack ad that suggests that Ron DeSantis doesn't care about you because he didn't tell you to leave. As if you couldn't have left on your own based on the information you were consuming in 24/7 capacity across any number of news channels, that you couldn't sit there and go, hey, this is going to be bad. We got to get out of here. It's not like you need Ron DeSantis to tell you that you must leave in order to go. For Ron DeSantis, what he understands and what I want you to understand is somebody who is in the business of asking questions to get meaningful answers. Meaningful questions from people who are way above my pay grade, experts, positions of high power and authority, I have the opportunity to put them in a position to answer a question that might be a tough question. In that regard, CNN's question to Ron DeSantis provided an opportunity for Ron DeSantis to explain clearly to people on CNN. This is the answer to your question. And I'll point out along the way that CNN itself was doing the same things and covering the storm the same way that we were reacting to the storm. Look at it as an opportunity. CNN's problem is that the context of a question like that is automatically seen as combative. It's automatically seen with animus because they've earned that reputation. That's theirs. That's on them. They need to correct that so that when Ron DeSantis gets asked that question, or any governor in any situation, Gavin Newsom, if he's got a fire and he's asked a question like that by a Fox News reporter, why is it that you chose not to evacuate these people or you chose to evacuate those? We need to, in this country, have a media who's asking those questions of everybody all the time so that we hold our leaders accountable and they have the opportunity to provide the answers instead of having activist media types who are asking these questions to try to get you gotcha questions so that they can try to hurt you for your next campaign. So it's kind of a double-edged sword to me there. It certainly wasn't Ron DeSantis dunking on this reporter. He got asked a tough question and he answered it.
Yeah.
More of that.
Yeah. I thought he did an excellent job. I thought it was a great effort that he put forth. This is the thing. Whenever I talk about him being a boxer, whereas Donald Trump was a brawler, this is a great example of how Donald Trump would have responded to that question versus how Ron DeSantis was. Ron DeSantis doesn't attack the reporter. He attacks the report, the question. He attacks the information and he answers the question, and he does it in a way that A, makes sense, and then B, really doesn't insult anyone.
To me, he diffuses, he doesn't ignite. And to me, he wins when he diffuses. So, carry on, Ron DeSantis. I'm a big fan. Anyway, let's take a quick break. More votes coming in on the YouTube live chat poll today. I'm going to ask you about this, Brad. When we come back, we'll discuss the poll a little bit. What is the most motivating issue for the 2022 midterm election? Economy, crime, immigration, or is it something else that I didn't list? I only get 4 options. So I made the 4th one something else. You got to leave a comment to tell us what that something else is if you vote for it. More Annie Frey Show in a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show. Text Red Cross to 90999 to give $10 to American Red Cross Disaster Relief, which helps people affected by disasters such as Hurricane Ian. Message and data rates may apply, or go to 971talk.com for additional ways you can help.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
Have you started thinking about your Christmas shopping yet? Well, I want to tip you off to a great opportunity to save on something very lovely for yourself, for someone you love, for your parents, for your significant other, maybe for a child celebrating some sort of special event. Go to the Diamond Shop. First thing you want to do, though, right now, this is easy. Go to thediamondshop.net, thediamondshop.net, and become a VIP. It's free to sign up, and you're going to get special discounts and merchandise by being a Diamond Shop VIP. Also, if you are thinking about making a purchase, maybe a bigger purchase, maybe it should be a little purchase, it doesn't matter. They can do 6 months, same as cash. This is a wonderful way to make sure that you're getting the piece that you want, and you're getting it from the best jewelry people in town. The best shop, the Diamond Shop, has been in Clayton and serving St. Louis since 1910. These people know jewelry, and they respect if you don't. I don't know a whole lot about jewelry. That's why I go to the Diamond Shop, because they want to serve an educated customer, and they're happy to help walk you through the whole process so that you feel good about your purchase. Great ways to budget, to work with your budget, and to save. Find out all the information online at thediamondshop.net.
Need to beat inflation? Golden Oak Lending is here to help.
Inflation has credit card balances at an all-time high. Why pay up to 25% interest when Golden Oak can pay off that debt at 5.75% fixed?
Our low mortgage rates make you the winner.
Call 314-567-GOLD to lock in your 5.75% rate today.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
NMLS 114937. 5.75% fixed, 6.991% APR. FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
If you need to freshen up the inside of your home with a new coat of paint, CertaPro painters can not only help, but they'll knock it out of the park. CertaPro painters have powers well beyond those of ordinary painters, like the power of a cut above, the power of reliability, and the power of neighborhood painters where you live. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, and it's super easy to set up a free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro painters, proven and trusted experts in painting. Head to CertaPro.com today.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet, and the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed. I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. Cowboy boots, running shoes, walking shoes, flat shoes, heels. Makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Hi, my name is Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair. In honor of our newest location in Cottleville, for any new customers, simply come into any of our 6 locations and ask us to pay the first $50, and we will. That's right. That means brakes, suspension, alignments, air conditioning, even our auto body work. Please come see our team or visit us at CompleteAB.com. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixed the car.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
That's hilarious. This is the. This is if when we get our ratings, you'll be like, what did Annie say at 2:32 on Monday, October 3rd that made everybody turn it off? This is the song that they play at the Disney World Halloween parade. I've never been to it. I don't know. I've heard of it. Happy October.
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost Christmas.
Almost.
I start to panic. This is why I put up Christmas decorations so early, because it's October 3rd. I will probably be out of town this weekend. If I don't get my Halloween decorations or fall stuff up, like I could have had, normally I usually put my stuff up for fall, like at the end of August. If I don't get my Halloween decorations up pretty much like early this week, to me, it's almost like not worth the hassle. But my kids love it. They love the Halloween decorations, the pumpkins, the orange lights and stuff. So I need to do it for them because pretty soon they're going to be too old and they're not going to care. So fine, I'll do it.
No, they're going to get old enough where they're going to start doing it.
Thank you for coming to my therapy session. I appreciate you letting me get this off my chest. So I need to get the Halloween stuff up. But then I realize that I have to take the Halloween stuff down and then go back to fall decorations for like 2.5 weeks. If I'm going to get the boxes out to put the Halloween stuff away, guess what's happening when I get the next boxes out?
Man, I think I would do that differently. I think I would just start with Halloween decorations, then do fall decorations, and then do Christmas.
Fall decorations and Halloween decorations are the same. It's just you leave the pumpkins out and you take the jack-o'-lanterns down.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't like to decorate for holidays. It's just extra work for me to see every day.
Which is why I don't want to decorate for fall, which I didn't get to do because I'm a disaster and I can't. I'm up to my eyeballs in commitments right now. I didn't get fall decorations out, and my 6-year-old daughter, God bless her heart, she'll come up to me at like 7:00 at night, like, Mom, can we paint tonight? And I'm like, no. What are we gonna paint? You want to do acrylic painting tonight? And all you Pinterest moms out there painting up a storm and making cute little tchotchkes to sit all over your house, man. I'm trying to get stuff not sitting all over my house. So you put up stuff for fall, and then October comes, then you put your Halloween stuff up, and then October is over, and so you take down the Halloween stuff, and then you leave the Thanksgiving stuff up to make sure that you don't make the people who are like, let Thanksgiving have their holiday, and then you get people who share you the gifts of and memes of a turkey telling Santa Claus to wait his turn. I'm like, really? Don't you mean Jesus? And should anybody be telling Jesus to wait his turn? Decorate for Christmas, people. There, I said it. I think I just justified decorating for Christmas like yesterday.
Yeah,
like
well,
that could happen now.
You know what? Do you care how much what other people think of you?
Yeah, obviously.
Because if you don't, decorate for Christmas whenever you want.
My entire profession was like me, by virtue of me sitting here, I have had to say that I am willing to not. I'm more okay with saying this stuff out loud in public than we talked about this last time with Ryan Wiggins. I guess it was Tuesday where he asked the question, "Have you lost relationships?" Yeah, there are people who are in my family who have, in an extended family, who have disassociated themselves or publicly attacked me because I happen to be conservative. I can't waste time worrying about that. And that's like important stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas decorations in my house, get out of here. Seriously.
Yeah. I don't know that, I look at my family members and stuff like that. And if my family members disagree with my political views, they won't tell me to my face. That's kind of one thing about my family is like, well, that's stuff you just don't talk about in public.
Do they disagree with you like on social media though?
No. Actually, I don't know that they even know my social media. Like, if they do, it's on Facebook, and I'm on Facebook like once every 3 months. So I don't ever see it.
I just Googled this. What's this sound like here? Hold on a second.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. And just first off, happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. 25 feels really good, guys, as you all know. So I appreciate it.
Did you hear the press room there singing "Happy Birthday" to Jen Psaki? We thought it was mandatory to have Hannah come on the show today, but she's calling in because she turned 21 yesterday, and I don't know why she's not here. Hannah, you there?
I am here.
Yay! I mean, like amongst the living. Congratulations.
Yay.
Happy birthday, Hannah.
I made it. Thank you. Yes, I made it. Yesterday was a great day. It ended for me about 6 o'clock.
PM? 6 o'clock PM?
PM, yep. I made it to the PM hours.
That's fantastic. You're 21. You were in the mood. You went to Fast Eddie's and celebrated with friends and family, and you stuck the landing. I was talking to you last night a little bit back and forth, messaging back and forth, and it sounded like you had a good time with great people, and you made it, and we wanted to celebrate you here a little bit today. We'll celebrate you a little bit more tomorrow when you get back, but what's it like to be 21? Does it have a headache?
Well,
nauseous?
Yes, I tried preparing. Brad thought I was crazy on Friday.
No.
I was drinking liquid IV to try to hydrate myself throughout the weekend.
At 11 o'clock.
And Friday morning?
Friday, yeah.
Yes.
Before the show.
And I never stopped drinking liquid IV leading all the way up to Sunday because I was so nervous I was going to get sick. And I did get sick, but I was hydrated.
But it was liquid IV. That's fantastic. We'll talk more about your birthday when you get back tomorrow. Wiggins will be back tomorrow as well. We're speaking with Hannah, who took the day off because Sunday was her 21st birthday, and we're celebrating that and celebrating Hannah. And Hannah, I think that the poll question, Brad and I were talking about this, and
Who's going to read the results?
Well, Brad's going to read the poll question today, but we think tomorrow the poll question would be, how On a scale of 0 to 10, how hard did you celebrate your 21st birthday? And we'll put the scores up there. We get 4 options. We'll put that up for people to vote tomorrow, and then we'll have people tell us their stories, and you can report on them at 2:45 on Tuesday.
I think that's a great idea.
Man, everybody is saying hi. Ball says, what up, beanbag? People miss you, but we're excited to have you back tomorrow. We wanted to tell you happy birthday on the air, and we'll get you back in here. I'm just expecting you to be incredibly hydrated tomorrow.
Yes, super hydrated. And I was listening earlier, and I heard you call me a nerd for watching the news last night, but I couldn't help it.
You are a nerd. You're one of us. I mean, you're in this club now. I don't know what kind of cool club you left to join us, but this one's pretty cool, too. It's good company. And we wanted to tell you happy birthday. Thanks for calling us in. We appreciate it.
Great. Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that poll tomorrow.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
I think it will be. I turned 21 on a Monday. That's all I'll tell you today. I'll tell you the story about my 21st birthday. And on a Monday. I'm not very excited.
I don't remember my 21st birthday.
Oh, can't wait to hear that story tomorrow. What a tease. Stay right here until tomorrow at 2:45 or whenever we talk about it.
Yeah, you know how we were talking about the poll, the YouTube poll, and today's YouTube poll is, what is the most motivating issue for the 2022 midterm elections? And I'm going to have to read your guys' comments, but right now I've got one. So I need more comments.
Need more comments. What is the most motivating factor or issue for the 2022 midterm elections? The economy, crime, immigration, or something else? We'll see what the results are when we come back. Brad's going to step in and try to do Boop's job for her. It was funny because I put up a picture on our Facebook page and Annie Fresh Show Facebook page of Hannah and me. Maybe tomorrow I'll show the whole picture. I cropped that picture because why? Ryan Wiggins is in it, and it's like not his best side. But I don't know, maybe it is his best side. I guess it's all relative. I'll leave you to, that'll be Wednesday's. The Wednesday's poll. Is this Wiggins' best side?
We could have Mrs. Wiggins join us and answer that question.
No, I don't want to know what she thinks about it. She's in a different class on that question for sure.
She's a saint.
Yeah, she is. God bless her. God bless her. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, the results to this poll. People saying hi and happy birthday in the live chat. We appreciate each and every one of you. It's October. Are you decorated for Halloween? Love to know what you think about that as well. And when you put up Christmas decorations, this is going to be a conversation on the show in and out pretty much until Christmas. So join us. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. The Mark Reardon Show.
State Representative Mary Elizabeth Coleman.
The governor, I think, really wisely said, hey, let's do this historic tax cut, drop the bottom rung of our income tax. We want people to be able to keep the money that they're making.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
So we have another Protecting Your Retirement educational event coming up. When? Tomorrow. And I need you to reserve your spot. I think that there are a few spots left. Just had a message here on the Annie Fry Show Facebook page on the live from Jeffrey. Said, who is the financial company doing stuff in Frontenac tomorrow night and how can I attend? Well, Jeffrey, I will tell you. It is Mark Cox, Mark Reardon, and myself are joining Thomas Helbig in the Retirement Advisory Group tomorrow at 6:30 p.m., Tuesday, October 4th, 6:30 p.m. at the Frontenac Hilton. We would love to meet you. I'll be there at about 6 o'clock and we'll be shaking as many hands as I can, getting to know you. I would love the opportunity to meet you between 6 and 6:30. The event starts at 6:30. And then Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw and the people at the Retirement Advisor Group, they don't take much of your time. It's like 45 minutes of them explaining to you how you can protect your retirement with the Retirement Advisory Group. If you're 59 and a half and older, did you know that you can roll over your 401k tax-free to protect your nest egg and still generate more income than most investment options? Reach out to the Retirement Advisory Group and reserve your spot today. Call this number and get your seat reserved, 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AAMCO.
The football season is building up, and so are your carpets, floors, and even air ducts with all that dirt and dander. So it's time to call Zero Res and beat the holiday rush and save. Appointments are booking up fast. Be sure to call My Carpet Heroes at Zero Res. And before you turn on your furnace too much this winter, do you know how much built-up dirt, dander, and other allergens are lurking in the air duct system? You can do something about it because your home will never really get clean if those ducts are pumping it full of years of built-up dust, dirt, and allergens. And every surface Zero Res cleans is specifically designed to preserve and maximize the life of your investments in your home or your surfaces in your home. This month's Mark Reardon special is the more you clean, the more you save. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129 or 5 rooms starting at $199. That's a 43% savings. Book now to get the best carpet cleaning deal of the season. And don't forget about those air ducts, $75 off any air duct cleaning package. The deals won't last long. Beat the rush and book today. Call Zero Res 314-474-2020 or online at ZeroResSTL.com and say you want the Mark Reardon special. And right now, Zero Res is hiring. Zero Res, spell it backward or forward, it spells the same.
You had a solid retirement dream, sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with Truehold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want, and Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Grab your guys and ghouls and come sip with us at Ballpark Village's first ever Wicked Wine Walk on Saturday, October 8th. Get spooky and fly around this festival-style event with food and wine tasting, shopping, live music, and more. Trick or treat yourself with VIP upgrades to enjoy extra wine pours and access to the VIP party deck. Tickets are on sale now at stlballparkvillage.com/events.
Join us for a night of fright at Carnival Halloween at Ballpark Village on Saturday, October 29th. Come for the haunting spirits and all-inclusive drink package and stay for the live music from Retro Nerds. Dress your best and enter the costume contest for a chance to win up to $10,000 in cash and prizes. We are not clowning around. Enjoy access to 6 parties, including Bally Sports Live, Budweiser Brewhouse, Sports and Social, Crown Room, PBR, and Shark Bar. For tickets and event details, head to stlballparkvillage.com/events.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orse and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's Monday, but it's 2:48 on a Monday, which means I think officially, scientifically, Monday's over. Is that right? Science is kind of subjective these days.
I'll allow it.
You'll allow it? Okay. I mean, like, that's been seconded. All in favor? St. Louis, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah. Opposed? Shut up.
Anyway, that's how we do business here on the Annie Frey Show. Every day we do a YouTube live chat poll. I will set this up for you so that if you've heard me talking about it, but you're like, Annie, where's the poll? How do we do the poll? Go on your YouTube app. Go on YouTube on your website, on your computer or whatever. Just pull up YouTube and type in Annie Frey. Frey. That's how you spell my last name. Looks like Frey. Some people pronounce it that way. Type in Annie Frey. You'll see that we have a channel that we go live every day, noon to 3. In the live chat portion of that video, we put a poll up every day. We promote it throughout the course of the show. We look for your comments. This is normally Hannah's job during the show, so we're doing the best we can with no Wiggins and no Hannah today. And today's YouTube live chat poll, Brad is going to present to us and give us some results here.
So the live chat poll today is what is the most motivating issue for the 2022 midterm election? And this is for you. For economy, crime, immigration, or something else. And then if you selected something else, you needed to comment. So we had 139 votes.
Okay.
And we'll do this in ascending order. So the last place was crime with 7%.
Wow.
Then immigration and something else each tied with 11%. And then the economy was
stupid.
Yeah, it was 71%. And we had a few comments, and I don't know how many of y'all voted for the something else because I only have like 6 comments.
Yeah, and we're doing a lot of things throughout the course of the show. So if we miss yours, please just re-comment it here if you're still here, and I'll highlight them as Brad reads through some of the ones that we do have starred.
So I'm assuming that's Blue Fusion. But I don't really know. He said I voted
Blues fan.
Blues fan. Got it. All right. I'm
but
halfway.
Blues Fusion sounds cooler.
Yeah, Blues Fusion. All right. I voted immigration because allowing undocumented people into the country has a negative impact on crime and on our country's resources, which drives our economy down.
Good point.
That's a great point. Patrick Fleer says, "Can you?" Oh no, that's the wrong one. That was a question for one of the people. Jimmy says, stopping the Biden agenda is number 1 for me." So I guess that's more of an all of the above answer. And then Bob to you says, I said crime in the poll because I feel like people are sick of it and see the soft on crime Biden-Harris admin are to blame. So crime.
Crime.
And everybody else is like, I can't buy food and I can't buy gas. And that's pretty self-explanatory.
Which probably causes more crime.
I would think so. I mean, desperation causes people to do crazy things. So you can't afford food, maybe you steal the loaf of bread. You know, that's that moral quandary that everybody puts out there. It's like, well, if your family was starving, is it okay to steal bread? So, you know.
If your family is starving and afraid of drug cartels and impoverished third world countries, is it okay to cross a border into a country that's not yours and stay?
Right. And then.
No.
And then claim asylum.
It's not okay to steal the bread. That doesn't mean you wouldn't do it. Doesn't mean I wouldn't do it. Especially, you know, I can't remember who said it today because I was listening on the radio. It was either to Kilmeade or to Fox News. And they said that what we have right now on the southern border is just a speed bump. That is a perfect way. That was Bill Malugin, I think, was talking with Harris Faulkner about it. And when you look at the southern border and what we've done policy-wise and implementing, you know, how often do we hear people say, we don't need new laws. We don't need to go. We need to enforce the laws that we have.
Right.
On the southern border, what laws are in place right now that we are choosing not to enforce that we could enforce now, this very moment in time, that would make a drastic difference?
Right. And it's almost like even the laws that they are enforcing, they're enforcing them to the most minimal way that they can and still get away with it. I look at catch and release as one of those things. It's if you catch somebody that has crossed the border illegally, they shouldn't be released in the U.S. under their own volition to come back to their court date. You shouldn't be released in that. You should go to a holding pen, a holding cell, and wait your turn for your court. Now, if you think we need more courts and more people doing that, fine, great, good. Let's do that. Let's get more judges. Let's get more attorneys. Let's get this process going. The process could be streamlined, but you don't like letting somebody go into the country whose whole goal was to get into the country. That was it. They weren't trying to get here legally. They weren't trying to do anything else. They were just trying to get here. Whenever they go into the country and you catch them and then you release them, they're not coming back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would love to see the statistics of people who actually show up for that court date that they're assigned once they're released.
This is how, when I say these things, Wiggins Googles it and then tells me I'm right, or you definitely tells me if I'm wrong. But it's like, I think it's less than 10%.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But I'd have to check.
And you're talking about 290,000 people that we know of that are caught and released. Was it this month or this quarter or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And less than 10% of those people are going to show back up.
For the people who said crime, because crime is a surging issue, according to what polling says, I'm not a huge polling fan, but the idea of crime and our lack of investment in the understanding of what law and order actually is, it is good that Senator Kennedy actually has come up with a solution for
Look,
this.
if you hate cops just because they're cops, the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm John Kennedy, and I approve this message.
I do too, John Kennedy.
I love him. He cracks me up.
He's not wrong.
No,
he's not wrong. Call a crackhead, because if you're gonna divest in the people who enforce the law, you're going to have more of that crime. Are those people going to show up to help you? They're going to show up.
They may not help you.
They may not help you. Man, crime is something that when I hear people in Illinois, in the political sphere, talking about the biggest issues, I hear a lot of people saying crime is the top. It's a very Chicago-centric issue. But for folks that don't feel like crime supersedes the economy, and I think I would vote the economy. I mean, personally, for sure, I would vote the economy in this. However, kind of what we're talking about before, about how a terrible economy breeds crime. What happens when it breeds crime and the people in charge don't respect law enforcement? Big problems. Huge. And that's when the people who are running the state are often the times people who are focusing heavily on Chicago, because it's the vast majority of population in the state of Illinois. Chicago is not the place that you point at and say, we're doing a great job in crime. Just look at Chicago. That's where the rest of the state is headed.
Crime is a surging issue, and the reason that you or I probably wouldn't vote, crime is because in our lives, it's the economy that's at the forefront of it. We don't live in an area that's particularly high crime or anything like that, so we're not hit with it. But man, if you lived in Chicago where crime is just going off the rails, it'd be a lot different.
Think about how immigration fits into those as well. The economy, our obligation, and our financial obligation, according to the Democrats, to support these millions of people who have come here. Millions. We can't afford to take care of our own problems. But we have more people who are coming here and sidestepping the rules and the laws. You can come here. We have avenues for coming into this country and being in this country and becoming a citizen in this country. You want to make that more accessible? Let's talk about making it more accessible. But you can't just not go through a system. You can't just sidestep the whole thing. If they're not going to respect those laws, what laws are they going to respect? Well, unfortunately, the people who are making the laws aren't even investing in the people who are supposed to enforce those laws. Vote Republican in November, folks. Mark Reardon coming into the studio next. No,
Ryan Wrecker.
Ryan Wrecker, my pal. Up next on 97.1 FM Talk.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your